I don't even remember.
Oh my
I
god.
don't remember. And so it starts.
It was perfect timing.
So
Why
it
not?
begins.
Yeah, elevation.
A couple of New Years ago, my wife and I went to tribute band at like one of the hole-in-the-wall casinos here in Vegas. It was a good show, I have to admit.
Yeah, they put on a good show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pixel Pints. We are a bunch of guys from around the globe. We are the only podcast around the globe that covers two things that we love, which is great beer and video games. And guess what? It is the E3 special. Everything from E3. We are going to break it all down. Nothing is going to left untalked about. And I'm joined by two other people right now. We were hoping three, but right now it's just two. Might be three later. We'll see. But I'm joined from across the ocean, Evan Pietrowski.
Hi. So I've been really busy the past couple weeks. I've actually been working on this new app. It's a text-to-voice app where you can highlight a conversation, and I have this crazy algorithm that it'll figure out the tone of the conversation and then spit it out on the other end, and it sounds like two people are actually talking. So to test it out, it's in beta testing. I actually took a little snippet from our Discord chat of something that we were talking about earlier this year, and so this is what it sounds like. It's pretty amazing stuff, guys.
Whoa, hey buddy, what's wrong? I was playing the game and my sword broke it. Oh, open your inventory. Look. Yeah, see, look, you got 6 more swords. But I liked that one. Alright, look, I promise you, play the game a little bit more and hey, you know what? You'll probably find that sword again or something better. It's kind of how the game works. That's not fair. My best sword is broken. Oh, I want it now. Look, it's an action-adventure game. The game wants you to be scrappy because it's all about exploring and poking and prying the world. I guarantee you'll find something better. You even get the Master Sword later. And then it's not broken anymore? Well, no, it does break, but you get it back after 3 minutes, I swear. Because you're using the Master Sword, you'll end up having so many swords in your inventory, you won't know what to do with it. And when the Master Sword breaks, then you have the fun of relying on some other stuff, trying out a hammer, trying out a giant sword. It's actually pretty fun. There are so many things in the environment that you can use to your advantage if you do run out of weapons. It's actually pretty fun, and a lot of this emerging gameplay wouldn't exist if you could just stick to a sword for the entirety of the game. But weapon degradation! Jesus Christ. Look, just relax. Everything's okay. Go to sleep. Sleep. Jesus fucking Christ.
What do you guys think? I think that's pretty accurate.
I think you broke the YouTube algorithm, and I feel personally attacked by that whole skit right there.
I feel like it was a mockery of my age. I'm not a baby. Weapon... But weapon degradation.
Look, I'll work on the tone algorithm and see if I can like ferret out a bit. If you don't think it's accurate to what we had discussed, I'll work on it a bit more. It's only in beta, but I appreciate you guys' input. Thank you.
So that's Evan. Actually, much closer to me over in Las Vegas, where Army of the Dead takes place. So hopefully there's not zombies there yet. Burkoff, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Jesus has not risen from the grave, so there are no zombies around yet.
No, that's how it works.
But yeah, it did hit 43 Celsius, 100.
I'm sorry. There is a majority of
I just transitioned into Fahrenheit. I believe it's
but
100.
you can't even go to the metric system. It's not an option. We talked about this.
But yeah, I think it was like 115 earlier today.
That
Or
is
It's
that
been
is
pretty
insane.
hot. Even here in LA,
Yeah.
it got to about, well, we had a heat advisory for a few days, which we usually don't get those
This
until July,
yeah, end
August.
of July, early August. Yeah. So this year, excessive heat warning this entire week. I was
Yeah.
worried that my tires might melt on my way home from work. It
Dang.
was so
That's
freaking hot.
something I know, you know, from someone that comes from a cold state, don't even think about that. That's
Right.
just,
Yeah, that's
you're just like,
crazy.
it doesn't get that hot. But then
Yeah.
I found out that while I was living in like 82-degree weather, back home where I'm from, basically where I used to live is near Canada for people that don't know. So it's really north. We get really cold. They had highs in the 100 for the first
Wow.
time for a whole week. They broke so many records on heat. For 7 straight days, they had over 100 degrees. It was insane. They all were texting me going, "Can we come see you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's 80 degrees out here. It's great." So yeah, it's just been crazy. But as always, we are a group of people called Pixel Pints. If you want to find us, we are at twitch.tv/Pixel Pints, where you can find us streaming live. And the way you know when we're streaming is if you follow us on Twitter, which is Pixel_Pints. And then on Instagram, you can find us at Pixel Pints Pod. If you want to listen or watch the show, it's archived on Twitch every single week, but it's also on YouTube. If you just search for Pixel Pints, we're right there. And any of your fellow podcast you listen to,
all your podcatchers.
all
Yeah.
your podcatchers, it's right there for you. Just search for Pixel Pints. We're right there as well. So there is no reason not to absorb this beautiful post E3 content, because there's going to be some interesting conversations, and some conversations where I've been frustrated that some people don't talk about some of the stuff that's been going on, and so we are going to talk about it here because we're not scared of trying to appease people. We have very striking opinions about what we want to talk about, and we're okay with that. So before that, because we enjoy games and beer, who has some beers to share?
All right, I'm
ahead.
gonna go
Start
first.
off. Yeah.
I got
It's an important beer, this one. This is a good
I
beer.
got the Miller High Life, the champagne of beers this evening.
He's you know why you have the High Life right now? Because you got to
Why?
get higher because E3 was too low.
Yeah. He needs
Well,
to pick me
yeah.
up.
It's just,
Actually,
you know what E3 needed? The High Life man. that's what they needed.
Or the lady on the moon.
If you've never,
Yeah.
for anyone that is international that does not watch, that does not see the commercial, you want to go back maybe like 6 years ago. There's a African American High Life man, and he was awesome. And he was talking about how the
Yeah.
High Life would just bring up your
Oh.
life, and he was basically a hype man
I don't know
for
that.
High Life the beer. So go
Wow.
search that commercial. It's great. He's hilarious. That's what E3 needed, the High Life man.
Yeah, I know. So I picked up some High Life because I couldn't get Pabst Blue Ribbon, and I needed a good Milwaukee comfort beer for this evening. So that
A
was,
lot of Wisconsin going on.
A lot of Wisconsin love,
Yeah.
except no Aaron Rodgers love, but we're not going to get in that.
How is the champagne of beers after such a long hiatus?
shit. I think it's been probably 10 years since I've had High Life. It's not bad. It's pretty good.
High Life actually is probably my second favorite, like just cheap beer to go to.
Yeah.
It literally the reason why I liked High Life was it doesn't taste like water, which was nice, and it's got a nice refreshing, almost like it was like a carbonated beer. That's what if I could describe the beer, it's like carbonated beer.
Well, I mean, it's like high carbonation.
Yeah.
those
it's
types of
it's
beers,
a
right?
nice it's a nice refreshing beverage in the summer.
It's like if you do water, it's like it's the sparkling water of beers.
What?
Yeah. They should
Okay.
put that on the label.
Sparkling
It's
water.
the
of
sparkling
waters.
water of waters.
I meant sparkling water
Oh.
of beer. It's the sparkling water of beer. Evan, what do you got? You're going hazy.
Yeah. going hazy, a little bit hazy. So that's a proper session beer without the joke. And speaking of session beers, um, I'm drinking Kyoto Brewing Company's Muddy Fumi out of
Oh,
the
interesting.
Muddy series, and the one I had previously, I think it was when just Mitch and I were on. We were talking about Resident Evil.
Yeah,
Was
that's
the
right.
Mario,
Yep.
and they have the Muddy series, and I'm pretty sure they called it the Mario because Kyoto Brewing, the actual where they brew the beer is like 5 or 6 blocks away from Nintendo in southern Kyoto. So this series are all IPAs, and this is a Belgian session IPA, 4.5%. So
Nice.
they're saying, it's got the bit of let's see, bit of lime and a bit of green grape going on here, and it's one of those beers. It's like we didn't want to try to compromise on taste uh, by lowering the alcohol percentage. It's supposed to still be as flavorful as a regular IPA, which I believe the Mario
Is it
is. The Mario is a Belgian IPA.
by Belgian? Is it wheat by chance?
Um,
Or does it say?
it does not say, and it probably would have. It does
All right,
not say.
does it
Oh,
have that
Belgian.
little
It's
bit of
Belgian yeast. Belgian yeast
okay.
is what is used in here. Yeah, it does. So it says it has a hint of like grapes, and it does have a bit of like a white wine kind of aroma on here. It's pretty damn hazy. Can't really see through it.
Because
Doesn't really have that fruitiness to it.
I was gonna
Maybe a
say
bit
when
of
you
lime, I
when you
guess.
when they say like grape, it doesn't when grapes it doesn't smell like grape juice, like that hint of grape juice, that kind of grape smell.
No, 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 nothing like that. More of like a wine, like a white wine.
Oh, okay,
Um,
gotcha.
so their Mario, which is the regular Belgian IPA, has like such a nice punch. It's like super fruity, super aromatic in that regard, and then just has a really nice punch of bitterness. This to a lesser degree because it's a session IPA, but it's still really, really flavorful. My friend, this is the first time I had this. My friend had warned me not to buy this because he had said that he didn't like it, but I did buy it because my wife's friend designed the cans for this series,
Nice.
Oh, cool.
and each section, I believe this is someone biking along the Kamogawa, the Kamo River in Kyoto, which is a very popular place to hang out because it's one of the only open places without any buildings around it, due to the fact that it's a river area. It's quite a nice place. If any of you guys ever come to Japan, that's definitely a place that we'd go and hang out and drink beer because you can drink beer outside in Japan.
Nice.
Japan, the Las Vegas of Japan, the sparkling water of waters. But
The Las
yeah,
Vegas of the East.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, this is good. Not as good as the Mario, but the Marifumi is quite delicious.
Awesome. All right, so gentlemen, how we're breaking down this E3 is we are covering each conference, and within each conference, we're going to talk about the biggest surprise, the best game shown, and the most disappointing. And then after that, once we break down all the conferences, then we're going to go, this is across all conferences. We're going to say what the biggest announcement is and who won E3. Obviously, we can talk about other things if it leads to a different kind of conversation. We're more than happy to talk about that. We do have so even though there's only 3 of us, we have a couple that have submitted themselves some written statements in regards to their selections and choices so that because they couldn't be on because of the time zone, we will be able to share their thoughts along with ours. So we will have more than just 3 thoughts. We will have at least 5 thoughts on this show. So I do want to make a quick disclaimer for Rafa. So Rafa gave me his, McWomble gave Evan his. So Rafa did want to make a disclaimer that these games I'm personally excited and not about. These picks aren't influenced by the impact on gaming culture, media, and their community surrounding them. So that just wants to make it clear he's not really thinking about the industry. He's more thinking about me, which, that works. So, gentlemen, Ubisoft, which can I just say, I was so right. about Rainbow Six Quarantine.
What did you
Extraction
say,
now.
actually?
I'm sorry, Extraction. Yes. So what I said was it was
Formerly
going to be
Quarantine.
it was going to be Rainbow. It was going to be their take on the zombie infection shooter, but like really focus on the strategic elements that Rainbow Six has really been focused on lately. I even
Oh,
used the
okay.
example of maybe someone is captured and you have to get through the zombies to get to the actual person and save them, and then maybe you get a horde coming at you. So as soon as they're like aliens, which is the infection version,
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap, they did it.
The one thing that I will say about that is I am immediately interested because it's aliens and not zombies.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think it was Call of Duty Ghosts had the aliens mode instead of the zombies mode. And even though most people hate ghosts, I think the aliens mode was way better because it was way more unpredictable. Instead of just having these like lumbering zombies towards you, you had aliens of different types. And so I think Extraction will probably benefit from that.
Which, for the record, I'm sorry, that's my best game shown from Ubisoft.
Best game. Okay.
Yep, best game.
Okay.
This game, I already said it, and I told. Fortunate enough, I know the person who does the concept art for the game, and so I was basically on trolling him on Twitter, going, "I think the game is this. Can you give me a hint?" Like hours before the press conference, and he gave me the maybe. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. But I was like, that's enough to say I knew what it was. But I said in my tweet, and I still hold by it. If it was what I thought it was, which it was, it will be one of my top games of E3, and I think it's perfect. I really really do. I like how they have Siege. They're still still supporting Siege for those people that like the player v player type PvP style, but this one is all about working together, infiltration. There's a lot of ways you can handle it, but really a lot of it was being actually strategic based off the types of enemies you had in front of you. They were about silent killing, placing yourself in the right spot, setting up traps, and then really just like adjusting to what the environment is around you. And I do love the fact that there's a risk. You are taking a risk when you go into the zone to go save somebody, because if you die, you get captured, and then you have to save that specific operator. The one thing that they're keeping from Siege is the operators. So you lose that operator. So if that's like your favorite operator, you lost all their gear and you need to go save that operator. And I think that's awesome. I think that's just exactly what they needed to do with this. So I'm stoked. I never thought I'd be so stoked to see a Rainbow Six game again, but with Siege, what they did, and now what they're doing with Extraction, I think it's hands down best in show for Ubisoft.
I'm super happy about the pivot for sure. Away from zombies and towards aliens. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Evan, what's your best game shown
Actually, for
at Ubisoft?
You know what? I met a Swiss French guy in Japan, and I said Ubisoft to him, and he was like, Ubisoft? He like corrected me, because of course he corrected me. And I was like, and ever since then, I've had this it's both, because they've even interviewed devs that work there, and they're like, I think it's this, but whatever. What do I have down here? I got my notes, looking at my notes here. And non-applicable.
What?
Not.
Wow.
I didn't see anything that I was interested in enough to slap the best game shown on from them. They do not make games that I get excited about anymore. And after playing Syndicate and Unity, and it's just, I'm so sick of the formula.
You're not a Mario Rabbids guy? You didn't like Mario Rabbids?
I don't like tactics games.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't stand them.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
Erebus Jones, if you're watching, just fucking furiously. If you
don't
talk
hate
shit
us.
about
Right.
XCOM, I will buy that ticket. I'll get vaccinated. No, he did. I'll buy that ticket to Kyoto. I'll find out where you live. I'll stab you. Yeah, XCOM Enemy Unknown. It was free on PlayStation Plus a couple years ago, and I downloaded it. I got like 2 missions in. I'm like, nah, it's just not for me.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Burkoff, what's your best in show from Ubisoft? I know I'm going a little out of order. Sorry, I wanted to really talk about
Yeah, no
Extraction.
worries. Riders Republic is mine because
Oh, okay.
Trials
one of the
guy.
types of games that I miss the most is the extreme sports games. So back in the
Oh, awesome.
PlayStation 1 era, they were all the rage. Like there was
Cool.
you could buy 15.
Here we go. Cool Borders.
Yeah, cool borders, Dave Mira's BMX, Tony Hawk, like Too Extreme. Like there was all these games for the PlayStation that you could play. Riders Republic is all that shit wrapped up into one game. I'm super excited about it. Like that is definitely a purchase that I will make, and I will have fun playing that game for sure.
I'm happy for you. I really am. My only thought about that, my only thought
Having said
about
that-
it is that there's with a game like that, the risk is there isn't enough depth between each type
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
of thing. And one thing I instantly saw and I went, ooh, was the snowboarder when they went to grind on the pipe. The body of the character magically moved a few inches over in midair, so the physics made no sense in that moment.
I'm kind of magnetized to like the rail.
Magnetized
or
right
whatever.
to the board.
I
So it
need
just-
that.
it
I
just
need, I
didn't
need
work
that
for me.
to just happen so that I can fucking enjoy
Just
the
make
moment.
it fun. It's not
Yeah,
a technical game. It's
absolutely.
not skate. Yeah.
But
I get where you're coming
but
from.
before we move on, a new challenger approaches.
Oh, lovely.
That's right. We gotta get Dan in this shit.
Just piggybacking off of Matt, or just continuing that conversation with what is that game called? Riptide Revenge, downhill Riders.
Riders
Riders
Republic.
Republic.
Riders.
It sounds like a Star Wars game. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
This game disappointed me because all it did is make me realize that I want a Downhill Domination 2 game, and this is as close as I'm going to get. Because I saw those mountain bikes, and it looked fucking cool, man. But I don't know. There's like too much going on. It's vacuous. Like, is this a games as a service? All I'm doing is riding. I'm getting points to, like, I don't know.
Dude, it's all right. So don't buy it at launch. Don't spend $70
Sure.
on
Here's
it.
Burkoff pitching
Spend
you the
$20
game.
bucks.
He's ready to pitch you.
Spend $20 on a sale and 10 to 20 hours in it and fucking dump it after that. It's gonna be fun for those $20, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
But
it's
how
gonna
long
be
do
a
you have
good
to
game.
wait for it to hit $20? That's the thing.
Who
Like
cares?
that's gonna be
Who cares? You're gonna be playing other shit.
unless
until
Burkoff
that
it makes
comes out
Game
anyway,
Pass.
so.
Then if it's a Game Pass game, I'm probably gonna be all
Yeah.
over it because it's cheap, it's easy, and I'll play with Burkoff. Why not? You know.
Absolutely.
I might seriously purchase it at some point just so I can do the downhill. I'll just pretend I'll do nothing but use the mountain bike and just
And
pretend
then
that it's Downhill Domination 2.
and then
that'll
you'll
be
do the
worth 20 bucks.
wingsuit.
Well,
and
speaking
you'll be like,
of-
oh shit, I gotta do this other stuff too.
And just now I have to get the platinum trophy.
Yep.
Speaking downhill domination, for our audio listeners, we are joined from across the pond. Now we are in 3 time zones. That's how we do this podcast. We expand the globe. Daniel McAndrew is joining us right now. What's your best game of show for Ubisoft? It was our first. You're literally just hit the first topic. We're
No
at number one.
brainer. Mario versus Rabbids number 2. Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah. It's like the Sith and the Jedi. My lack of knowledge and interest in tactics is filled. That void is filled by the man who is the tactics guy. So yeah, I'm glad you're.
I was so hoping this would be announced. The only sad thing is I have to wait till potentially next year if it doesn't get pushed again. But I hope it does. But but no, that's what I was waiting for, and Ubi came through for me. And now my Switch will have something played into it. Actually, no, there is other things now.
There's
after
played.
Nintendo.
We'll
But at that
get there.
point, I
We'll
was
get
like,
there.
At least I'll be turning my Nintendo on the next year, so that'd be good.
I will say, so it's like an in between for you and Dan. I've played it. I haven't beaten it. I don't know why I stopped, but I did stop. I got pretty far, but I did stop. I might go back and finish it, or like start all over again and try to finish it, because it's way too complicated for me to just jump in cold turkey from hopping off the game like over 2 years ago. But I can see why, Evan, it's a little harder than what you expect it to be. The difficulty really ramps up in that game near the mid section. Mario versus Mario Rabbids, yeah, the first one. Yeah. That difficulty really ramps up in the mid section of the game, which sometimes becomes a little frustrating, and maybe that's why I quit for that time. But I am excited for you, Dan, and I am excited to try it. I think
it is like XCOM light, though. It's
for sure.
As XCOM.
It's got good comedy to it,
like
too.
It. It's
I
like
like the comedy.
I find it like quite relaxing for a strategy game. You just sit there, just kind of milling about on the bus. It's almost like, I love chess, but it's like an easier version of chess. Because you
it's like the Queen's Gambit of chess. Watching it.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's I was always going to be the outsider with this decision, but yeah, no, I was happy to see it.
Well, you are not the only one in this decision, because Rafa had picked. Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, I am so sorry. I'm so wrong. I'm so sorry.
Have you got Keith's?
Evan has Keith's. Keith did. Did Keith
emailed it to me?
What did Keith pick as his biggest surprise? His game of show.
All right, I'll just read this out. So this is titled Mick Womble's E3 Musings. I changed the font, by the way, to make it easier. Look at that font. That's Futura. You should use it in your documents. I'm very particular about fonts because of the worksheets that I make, but whatever.
The fact you printed it was amazing.
yeah. Down by the local, the convenience store where you can actually get it. Japanese convenience stores are actual convenience stores, because you can get T-shirts, underwear, socks. I paid my city tax there. I printed this out. I bought beer. It was amazing. All right, Ubisoft. Truly convenient. Unfortunately, Ubisoft didn't show me anything that I'm interested in playing, which when I read this, I thought it was quite interesting, considering I'm kind of in the same boat with him, but we didn't discuss this beforehand. Then he adds, Rainbow Six Extraction is a different take on the co-op zombie shooter and looked interesting, but I can get Back 4 Blood on Game Pass. This guy will not shut the fuck up about Game Pass. As well as another game.
He needs that Microsoft sponsorship money, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So he can get Back 4 Blood on Game Pass, so pass on Rainbow Six Extraction, as well as another game I will come to later from the Xbox conference. So don't see the value proposition for me. Those are all his notes on Ubisoft.
All right. Well, Rafa, this one we have not talked about. For his best game shown. Oh, I'm sorry. No, he is with you, Matt. Riders Republic is his choice for best game show. He did not give any details. He just gave his, just the game, which is fine.
Does he need to say more? Does he?
No,
really
it's just one of those games. It's fun. It's dumb fun.
He does have some written stuff when he talks about some other topics, but best game shown, he just has it listed. All right. So, biggest surprise from Ubisoft. Matt.
I don't have a biggest surprise from Ubisoft. Nothing that they showed really surprised me, other than the fact that they're continuing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Like the most fucking milquetoast, uninteresting fucking Assassin's Creed in the last 5 years.
Ouch.
I don't care. You're gonna continue it.
Nothing wrong with the UK. That's harsh. I haven't played it.
But the biggest surprise was that they're gonna try and do some type of games as a service with Valhalla. I guess, I don't know. I find that very curious.
All right, Dan, do you have a biggest surprise?
Of course, Mario versus Rabbids
2. which Dan, I will say, is also Rafa's pick for biggest surprise. Mario Rabbids 2.
It's the only thing in this conference I was interested in.
Evan, any biggest surprise? I know you're already down on Ubisoft, so.
Let me check the notes. Not applicable. No, nothing surprised me. I'm not trying to be some antagonist. I just wasn't really surprised with anything.
It's very
I
nice.
would.
It was pretty dull.
My biggest surprise is probably the lack of games from Ubisoft. Even if they
Right.
like example like Prince of Persia didn't show up.
Yeah, why
And-
not? We don't know.
That
And
would have
I-
been on my list as
See,
maybe possibly best game shown if that would have
So,
popped up.
and
'Cause I
here's
love
the
that
thing,
game.
like I get they're like kind of starting to. I don't know if they're starting from scratch, but I know they're really like looking at that game because of how people don't like the look of it. But I
Maybe
think
they
they
were
maybe
working on
could
it
have
more?
done at least some kind of update. Like even just give me an update on it, you know, because I think they just lacked. My biggest surprise was Ubisoft is usually loaded with content,
Yeah.
and this
got a
E3
lot of
was
games
not
usually, yeah.
loaded at all.
I
That
th-
that was my biggest surprise.
I think this is shown to me, and this might be a completely redundant statement. I might be giving the developers a bit too much leeway here, but I think it showed me that actually these games can't be developed remotely.
We'll
Because
get.
if you think about what's
we'll-
been shown in the last year,
Well, Dan, we'll get to that.
got worse.
That's going to be one of our conversations. Whether and
Sorry.
I'll show you the prompt of what I'll let you know what the prompt is basically. But we're definitely gonna talk about whether
Yeah.
the E3 when we talk about E3 overall, if this E3 was hindered because of is it the pandemic or is it because they don't think they need E3 to make these announcements for these games anymore that they don't need to bring as much to the table. So we'll get to that. I think it's a really interesting conversation because I don't know if there's a real answer. It'll be interesting what you guys think about it. So,
Yeah.
Keith did not have the biggest surprise. All right, most disappointing. Can I just go first? There is no fucking dancing panda.
Yeah.
No dancing panda this year. Come
They
on,
did not give the people what they want.
give me
Yeah,
my
Just-
I don't care if
They
that.
Just Dance, didn't they?
I don't even know who that guy is from Just Dance, and that's fine. If he's an upcoming artist, that's cool. He should have been in the freaking the dancing panda costume, and then maybe take it off and go, "Oh, hi, it's me," blah blah blah. But like,
That's
there's
not a bad
no,
idea, actually.
There's no freaking dancing panda, and it's iconic. It's like literally, it's their mascot for Just Dance. How do they not have the fucking dancing panda with a year off and not having the pandemic and no dancing panda last year? Oh, it was the most disappointing.
I will
Double
admit.
Panda.
Yeah, I will admit. I never buy Just Dance,
Oh, double panda,
I-
that would have been great.
but I look forward to Just Dance showing up in E3 for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because you always get a good dancing panda. Apart from this year.
Yeah,
And then
it's
even-
silly and whatever, but yeah, like it's a lighthearted kind of moment. Everyone can
But it's-
smile at how cheesy it is.
Yeah, it's
I
Ubisoft.
appreciate it.
It cheers you up. It cheers you up, regardless if you play the game or not. It cheers you up. We'll go to Rafa's most disappointing next, 'cause I think this will be interesting for a couple people. He chose, and he does have an explanation for this, so I'll read it as well. Ubisoft Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon Remastered. They shouldn't have made a sequel. Wait, they should have made a sequel to it
yeah.
instead, or tease a primal level title based around it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would have preferred something like that for sure.
Okay.
It's not just because Blood Dragon. It's
I-
not just because Blood Dragon's like seen as their like gem.
I don't.
Everyone loves
I
it.
don't. I don't.
It's-
So
see
they're
it.
just
I
trying
don't
to
see
bring
it.
it forward. I don't see it
Yeah.
either, but that's what.
There's no true
Everyone else-
survivor in
everyone's
Blood
talked about it for
Dragon, so
years.
whatever.
I don't know. I think honestly, for me, like of the Far Cry games, the two best Far Cry games that I've played are Primal and Blood Dragon. The ones that aren't mainline
Yeah.
entries.
They're
Primal's
both
my
really
favorite.
good. Primal's
My
yeah,
favorite.
the
Yeah.
nice platinum trophy. Primal, that game.
So I don't know. I guess they just didn't have another Primal, so they were like, "All right, fuck it. We'll just remake Blood Dragon again."
Well, here is
Well,
the thing.
but
Well,
they're in between Far Cry 5, New Dawn, Far Cry 6. So maybe that game is coming after Far Cry 6. The reusing
it
the Far
just
Cry
seems-
6 map. Yeah.
but here's the
Yeah,
thing.
Maybe
guys.
they didn't have anything else. They're like, let's make some more money and just that's what it's just a money grab, isn't it? Let's just chuck this bag out there for the fans. Some people will buy it. Well, it was an easy job to do. Boom.
But here's
Which
the thing.
honestly, I might for $15. Like I might actually buy that. I'll play it for 15 minutes and spend $15 on it.
Here's the thing, fellas. I think it would have been much better, especially because of the response. I'm not as connected to the Far Cry franchise. I mean, we talked about it on our E3 preview special of how much I'm not really into the franchise. But, however, they announced the DLC with all the villains where you play as the villains. I think that would have made a more interesting spin-off game than just being
Oh yeah,
DLC.
way more.
Maybe doing an alternate reality where the villain wins. That would be cool. I like that. And you maybe go through like you're like literally teleporting to each villain's game, and you have to do like like a quarter of the game as that villain, and then another quarter, and then all the villains come together. You could do a lot of cool stuff with that. And I think that's what kind of Rafa's trying to get at, and I kind of see his point. Like, why release this awesome DLC when it could have just been a spin-off of its own game, and it could have been much better?
Yeah.
But isn't it easier to do what they've done? What you've described, they're going to have to build that from the ground up, pretty much.
They could just
to get
reuse
playable.
assets from those games and just put them back in.
Yeah, I think this is a cash grab.
Oh, it's a
So
cash
don't just
grab.
make
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah, I mean,
And they're busy
being
making
lazy,
Far Cry.
for sure.
They're busy making Far Cry 6, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll chuck this out there as well for the fans because it's taken us a bit longer to do Far Cry 6 as we thought. So there we go, have some Blood Dragon magic.
All right. So, Evan, most disappointing. Do you actually? You
Most-
gotta have one. You gotta have one.
Oh, yes, I do. Far Cry 6 is my most disappointing, and
Really?
my reasoning is so. I just finished Far Cry 5, and I'm playing Far Cry New Dawn right now, which is so much better than Far Cry 5. You don't even know. It is such a better game. But back, you know how with Primal, they like led up to the reveal of Primal with that 24-hour streaming of like a cave with like fire, kind of like the light
Yeah.
from the fire kind of like illuminating cave paintings and stuff. They love doing that for Far Cry reveals, and I remember the teasers for Far Cry 5. And I played Far Cry 3 is amazing. I platinum Far Cry 4, I platinum Far Cry Primal. And so Far Cry 5 is coming out, and they do these teasers where they show this like extreme wide shot, static shot of like Big Sky Country, right? And they're just hanging on this shot, and then you just hear someone scream, and it echoes through the mountains, and it hangs on that, and then that's it. And then there's another one where it's a field, and you see someone running through a field. It's like, I don't know if it's corn or just like high grass, and you hear a shot echo through, and it hits the person, and they fall down, and it just hangs on this shot with this like bare patch because the person's laying on the grass. And it seemed like, oh, like they're going like Jamestown, super serious story with this. It's going to be like it's going to be a Far Cry game, but it's going to be a horror story that really like taps into like how fucked up cults really are. You talk about like Waco and all these types of things that happen, like people, like indoctrination, people dying, like kids. It's terrible stuff, right? Like 900 people died in Guyana from the Jim Jones, the Jamestown massacre. It's fucking horrible. And I was so excited for them to like do something like that. And then when they finally reveal the trailer, it's like, doom, 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 doodle, doodle. Hey, everybody, welcome to Big Sky Country. You can fuck everything up. Cheeseburgers, bear. He's going to fuck it. He's going to kill everyone for you. These damn cultists are going to get their I'm like, oh, they're like no teeth. This game has no teeth. And they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. And Far Cry 6 is doing the same thing, where the tone, the only game that can have these massive swings in tone is the Yakuza series. And that's because they show you immediately, right away, what they are. Immediately. Everyone knows those games are crazy.
They don't.
Yes, they
No,
do.
it-
Like, I'm
no,
talking
no.
about the trailers.
You gotta spend like 15 hours before you realize what the fuck's going on.
I'm talking about the
all right,
trailers.
so
I'm
with
talking about the
Ubisoft-
trailers.
With Ubisoft, dude, there's the marketing team over here, and then there's the gameplay development team over here.
Sure.
These people are in fun land, and these people are in political land. They
Yeah.
don't talk to each other.
Departments do not talk to each other. That is true in any situation, even in schools. I want them to have a more serious tone, and they're so stuck on the fact that like, oh, the villain is the most important part, and it's just like the whole game hangs on this one villain. Like Vaz
Yeah.
is like the worst thing that happened to the series because it made them believe that they needed to do it every single game.
The one thing that I will say is Moff Gideon is going to be way better than the last three villains for sure.
Probably, but then like the trailers they show, like his lines aren't hitting. He doesn't seem like this character I'm supposed to be scared
I
of.
feel like he does. Did you watch the early gameplay shit? the stuff that takes place before the game, like the when they're in the boat.
Yeah, that didn't hit for me. I thought the lines were
It's
bad. Like
it's
he's talking about the fish. He fished
it's
with his dad. Like I don't know.
it totally sets up his character. I love it. Yeah.
But
I'm
so they
probably not
set up
gonna
his
play it, but I'm
character.
into it.
They set up his character, and then it cuts to like, "Hey, Danny, let's fuck shit up. You have a fucking jetpack, and you're gonna shoot." It's like, is it just cause or is it serious? Like, what are you trying to do here? So like, we can
Doesn't
move on
matter.
because we've been talking about. Yeah, that's true. I guess
It's
those games are just.
It has a
Yeah.
confusing tone. Its tone is
Yeah.
its tone is all over the place. Burkoff,
it's-
what is your most disappointing?
I already went over that. You asked me.
Oh shoot, did I? I'm so sorry.
I think
I'm
we're
a
done.
horrible host. Did we hit everybody? Dan?
We're
I
done
think-
with
I
we're
think we're
done with Ubisoft, I think.
Okay, cool. Sorry,
on.
I'm trying to keep track of so much stuff right now. I almost thought we didn't have volume working for a minute. I was like, oh no, so I had a heart attack for a minute. But anyways, we're good. We're good. We're good. All right, next one. We have Microsoft.
Oh shit. All right.
Interesting. Okay, so Microsoft. Let's go to most disappointing first. Let's
All right.
just start there. Evan, what's your most disappointing thing from Microsoft?
Okay, I'm gonna refer to past Evan in his notes. Don't care about Elder Scrolls or Space Nerd stuff, but I might have to buy an Xbox. I actually wrote that. I might have to buy an Xbox. Yeah. If the opportunity presents itself, it would be a nice digital only thing where I just do Game Pass, and anything that like I'm on the fence about buying on PlayStation proper with like trophies and that, like okay, I'll try it out on Game Pass, and it can be that system for that.
Well, the Series S is doing well
yeah.
in Japan, Evan. It's right up your alley. It's a Game Pass machine.
Yeah, I did see
Yeah.
that story, which I was surprised to see. But I would just spend the extra money to get the little refrigerator. Might as well.
Okay. What does McWomble say about does he have it listed at all, or does he have a paragraph?
No, he actually. I think Ubisoft just did not interest him, so he just wrote
Okay.
a little
Right.
excerpt.
Gotcha.
But okay, biggest disappointment: what they didn't show. Basically, nothing new from last year's E3. Bethesda, some engine footage of Starfield isn't enough information. They used the same trailer for the Ascent, and the game launches next month.
Oh, was it exclamation marks?
As a question mark, exclamation point. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, this kind of goes with Raf, so I'm gonna go with Rafa's. No gameplay from the titles that really mattered. An underbaked event. Not their fault though.
Probably talking about the pandemic, but you go from a logo for
yeah.
Starfield to a teaser with
Nothing.
no gameplay. 2 years. You can't throw people a bone.
Well,
They're not ready to show
here's
it.
the other thing. You learned 10 times more from his comments after the conference when he does an interview. It's like, dude, you just had to say those 2 sentences on stage and people would have been a little more satisfied. It's like, what the F are you thinking? Oh,
The
my
idea
God.
of Starfield sounds cool. Yeah, like
It's
I
like
joke about
Cyberpunk
the space nerd
2077
stuff,
all over again.
but it sounds
Yeah.
cool.
The perception of what you're going to get. And it's ridiculous. I'm just...
I think Xbox vetted what they could and couldn't say on stage, and that's why it was so dire from Bethesda. Because if we look at the past 5 years with Microsoft, somehow they managed to screw up their press conferences.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Rafa on this one for most disappointing, that there's just no gameplay for anything. And I understand that they have all these studios and it's taking time, but like they either are making these announcements way too early now, because after we learned, here's the crazy part. The game we all thought was going to be at E3 was Hellblade, because what was the first thing they announced when they announced the Xbox, the Series X? Hellblade.
Hellblade 2, yeah.
And now we learn the thing's not even in full development yet. It's still in like R&D phases. They haven't even made a demo of the gameplay of how the loop is going to work, and that's what you do to pitch to your company to say, this is what the game is. We want to build this kind of game. And then they say, yes, build that. Like the fact that they announced that 2 years ago and now they're just quiet. They should have said it's not even in pre-production when they announced the flipping game, because now people's expectations are like, what? You're going to see all these games in 2024. That's when you're seeing all these games. And I get it. They're tied behind their back with all their studios. But Jesus Christ, man. Like, heck, was it Redfall is coming out next summer and they can't even show a demo?
Can we
show some
just
gameplay?
Can we just stop having games with the name Fall in the title? I'm so sick of that shit.
But I'm just,
Wait a minute.
I'm done with CG trailers. I'm done with CG trailers. If you don't have something to show, don't show it. I don't care. I don't care if you're announcing a game. I don't want to see. CG trailers do nothing for people nowadays because people see past that bull crap.
All right. I have to. This is technically a final comment, but we're talking about it now.
Okay.
Final comment. Redfall. Seriously, that's the best name you could come up with. Of course, McWomble and I. Anytime we see fall at the end of something, we have to bring it up because it is a terrible. Like I don't even. It's not technically a portmanteau, is it? It's just a terrible suffix, I guess you could call it, of a game name. It's bad.
Well, here's the thing we also learned about Redfall.
Another fall game.
Well, here's the thing. Well, also we learned about Redfall, which I just want to clarify for people because I know there's been a lot of speculation what this game actually is because, again, they just show a CG trailer and then they talk about the game later. It's a hero shooter.
Borderlands. It's Borderlands.
No, it's not. Borderlands.
It's Borderlands with fucking vampires.
But here's the thing: it's a hero shooter because you have to pick from the 4 character selections that they offer you, and then yes, it's an open world like Borderlands, that kind of stuff. But it's another generic hero shooter. Uninspiring.
Yeah, show gameplay so we're not confused.
Right. Exactly.
Yep. See, that's all. I was like most disappointed, and I honestly didn't think they were going to show gameplay because they just are afraid to. Maybe they're just afraid because of what happened with Halo. I don't know, but really, it's 2021, guys. Like, you understand how the industry works, or clearly you don't. I don't know, but you need to show gameplay. And enough with this CG bullcrap. Heck, sorry, last thing, and I'll let people talk. I'm so sorry that I'm rambling, but
that's fine.
The Outer Worlds 2, which a game I'm excited to play because I did like the first Outer Worlds game. Like, if anyone read my review on Sifted, I said it's a great introduction to an RPG game if someone's not really known to the genre, but they just mocked Microsoft's entire conference in front of you by saying in the trailer, for their CG trailer, oh, look, this is all just conceptual stuff. We haven't even done anything yet. Oh, we just came up with the name and hired a bunch of people to make this graphic for us. That's literally, they just mocked Microsoft on their own conference. How the fuck did they allow them to do that? Because I just felt like they're laughing at themselves, and that's not okay.
They mocked the entire industry, really, is what they did.
But,
it was fucking
here's
genius.
the thing.
I thought it was hilarious.
I get that, and I find it hilarious too, but who in the industry uses only CG trailers nowadays? Not very many companies anymore do. You look at Ubisoft, they showed gameplay. You look at Square Enix, they showed gameplay. Who's showing the CG trailers? Microsoft. They made fun of themselves.
It's like Cloud during the Final Fantasy VII remake when you have this side quest where you have to find cats. And he's like, this sucks. Like, that doesn't make it any better. By the way, you know it. You calling out, like, breaking the fourth wall and saying the side quest sucks doesn't make it better, type of thing. But like, I know, I get what they were going for with that, but like, I don't know. I didn't think it was very funny. But
I think they were rather. I think we would have been as critical if they'd just stuck up Outer Worlds 2, and that's it. So the fact they actually went to the effort of putting a trailer together, I thought it was quite amusing because actually they obviously weren't really ready to announce it, but they were kind of told they needed to announce it. So they said, well, here we go. We'll make this trailer then.
Let's have a bit of fun. Yeah.
Because, so I think it was maybe all right. But I think it was a slight, like, well, you shouldn't have got us to announce it if you didn't want us to do something a bit
I guess
different.
if I was Microsoft looking at what they were doing right there, I would have been like, look at this trailer. It's hilarious. I get it. I love the joke. It's awesome. But then you're like, look at our showcase. A bunch of CG trailers. Ooh, that might be a little too harsh of saying something about ourselves as a company than just the
actually,
game
maybe that's a good
itself.
thing. Because Sony's taking themselves way too seriously at the moment. And actually, I think it's quite nice change to see a company do take the piss out of themselves.
True.
Thomas ain't having it.
True, but I mean, it's about the games, and I
Breakfast.
want to see the gameplay. So, Burkoff.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I do get that, Mitch. My biggest disappointment
go ahead.
was no Gears Tactics 2.
Gears Tactics came out last year. They're not making a sequel yet.
It's easy, just use the same.
Come on, buddy. Give me those tactics games.
Same.
Oh,
Yeah, come on.
So Gears Tactics was on PC first.
Yeah, it was. It's been
Go.
out for 2 years, actually.
Yeah.
No, it's only
this
been
guy.
one.
No, 2 years. It came out the
Yeah.
year before the pandemic.
No,
in the April.
Yeah, it was on
No,
PC
guys,
first.
no, guys.
It was on PC for a year before it came onto.
I know. I'm telling you this right now. I was working for Sifted when it came out on PC. It's been less than.
it was only a year then.
It was
April
only
last
a year
year, was
ago.
it?
Yeah, April last year. I literally made a show about game releases. That was one of the game releases because Shane and I thought it came out for Xbox as well, and it only came to PC. It's like
Yeah, that was always the case though.
It was last year, so it was only last year. Like,
oh, yeah, it was April last year. Okay.
Was when it came out to PC?
Hey, they should have. They showed me a silly trailer for Outer Worlds. They could have shown me.
but Outer Worlds came
It's
out
coming.
3 years ago. Just saying. Anyways,
yeah.
Burkoff.
Dan, this guy inhales tactics games like Kirby, just like
Just like Kirby getting thrown off a cliff.
yeah, just comes back.
Empire Sin?
What do you got?
He consumes
What do you
his.
got?
Oh, I went back and played that. Now they fixed it. It's actually a much better game.
Oh god.
Oh, good. Good to
Dan
know.
consumes tactic games like whatever his name is, throwing melee characters off a cliff.
Oh yeah. That was.
Anyways, Burkoff, what's your most disappointing about Microsoft?
So my most disappointing was the bookends, Starfield and Forza Horizon 5.
Wait, Redfall was their bookend.
No.
Yeah, it was
Horizon-
it was their last thing.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
Forza
it-
Horizon 5 was the whole fucking tail end of the conference.
Yeah, but the final thing
aside from the one more thing, yeah, that was. I guess it was.
I don't count that as
You wanna do it
bookend
that way.
is the
Whatever.
final thing. If you're starting with
Whatever. I stopped watching it in the middle of the fucking Forza shit. Okay.
Cars driving.
Because I already know what that's all about, and I was done with it, dude. It was
So for Matt, that was the end of his conference.
yeah, that was the
Yeah.
most disappointing that they spent that much fucking time on a driving game. I love those types of driving sims. Don't get me wrong,
I get
but
it.
to spend a half hour on that shit, we already know what the hell you're gonna give us.
Yeah.
It's better looking cars on more realistic tracks. Okay,
Matt,
Done.
Matt, you know what? The one thing that someone made a comment on, and I was laughing constantly throughout it, was how Forza Horizon, how the cars were driving and no one crashed into each other. It was like
Right.
perfect synchronization. It's like they timed it all out. Like Billy's gonna hop the hoop
It
at
was-
222. It was just too perfect.
it was scripted or
But I will
They
say the
planned it
game
out
looked
for sure.
awesome.
Yeah.
The game looks amazing.
it does. Yeah, like
But it is the
looks
same
amazing.
game. I get I see your point. Anyone else have anything for disappointing before we move on? Did I ask you, Evan? I already asked you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What did Rafa say?
Oh, he was already saying the no gameplay. I hopped on Rafa's
Okay,
boat.
fair.
So we are gonna go with biggest surprise from Microsoft.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm gonna throw mine out there
Go ahead.
real quick. Halo Infinite multiplayer, the gameplay. So I thought for sure they'd show a trailer. I didn't think that they would actually show the gameplay itself. So
Yeah.
for the conference, yes, it was just that trailer, but later on they showed gameplay. I didn't think we were gonna see it at all. So that was probably, my choice.
I think that wasn't mine, but I think I was a little shocked that, because they did split, which we all kind of thought that was going to happen. They're going to split the multiplayer and make it free to play. That they didn't do anything inspiring with the single player, because I think the consensus in the
They
Halo
didn't show much.
I think the consensus
No.
in the Halo community is everyone's over Cortana, and they just double down on her again, and you're like,
Yeah,
that's not exciting for me to hop on.
I'm pretty sure that Cortana disappeared from the latest Windows 10 update. So not too worried about it.
Thank God.
My biggest surprise is so it kind of matches with my biggest disappointment. So like the fact that they didn't show gameplay, They freaking have Psychonauts 2 coming out in like 3 months, and they showed nothing, almost nothing of Psychonauts 2. And I understand it's a niche game, and it's a platformer though. It's a platformer. You have the first game on Game Pass. Like, this is great cross promotion for saying you never played Psychonauts. Play the first game on Game Pass. And the fact that they really
They showed enough though.
They showed like 2
They showed
seconds
quite a
that
bit.
was gonna come on this date. That's all they showed. A trailer.
I kind of agree with you, Mitch. They could have shown, like they did with Infinite, where it was like a developer interview and they talked about the game. They didn't do any of that.
Well, heck,
It
they
was
could have just played the freaking game. Like, to be honest,
Well, that's what
like
I'm saying.
when we talk
Yeah,
about things like they're missing gameplay wise, this is something they have.
Right.
You think they were worried because it was a pre-presented show that it wasn't what's it called? It wasn't a like live show, so someone didn't have a controller in their hand and they thought it would be pre-produced. You know, like how we've previously criticized like EA for doing those like, "Hey Charlie, go get the grenade," kind of kind of gameplay.
I get that.
Do you think maybe that's why they shied away from gameplay? Because you are right, Mitch. There's no reason why they shouldn't have shown Psychonauts 2. I just at this point can't really work out why they didn't show any gameplay.
I totally get that, Dan, but again, Horizon Forbidden West showed gameplay and no one complained about that. That was pre-produced. Like,
good point.
and that's basically like every E3. It's like, even if it's live, they're like, they kind of plan out what they're going to, how they're going to try to play that level, and it's like a rarity they mess up in regards to like exactly how they want it to look. So I mean, I get what you're saying, but like I've even heard things of being like, oh yeah, we played it 12 times to get the perfect take. Get the perfect take. That's totally cool. No one cares. They just want to see how it plays. But yeah, that was just weird. That was my biggest surprise. Like, one game you do have gameplay for, you just didn't even want to show it for some reason. I don't get it. Evan, biggest surprise for you?
My biggest surprise is the Play Dead, the beautiful Danish independent development team that has made Limbo and Inside. Inside being one of my favorite games of the last decade. I think that game is so good. It's almost unbelievable how good that game is. Some Play Dead devs left the company to make their own game, which I was not aware of, in Somerville. I will say, a lot of what's going on in Somerville looks very similar to things that happen in Inside, and I'm talking like, well, actually, this is going to be a conversation a little later. This is going to pop up again, Somerville, wink, wink. But yeah, I didn't know that Playdead devs moved and formed their own company to make another game, and I'm happy because the time between Limbo and Inside was like 6 years or something. So if we have a team that's making similar games, and it's almost like a Naughty Dog where it's like Last of Us, Uncharted, Last of Us, Uncharted, and although they're not working together, they're able to stagger like and give me my fill of these style of games. Super happy about that. But yeah, I did not know that a bunch of people left Playdead to form their own studio, and I was pleasantly surprised with that.
I didn't know that either, so I was happy to see that too, Evan, for sure.
Yeah.
Dan, what's your biggest surprise?
I didn't really find anything that surprising. I suppose the Outer Worlds was nice as a second one coming, but I assume that was coming anyway.
I need to play that game.
I think my surprise was that they didn't call it the Game Pass show. I feel like that would have been a better title
Oh my
for the
god!
conference.
Oh yeah, please.
Because that's what it is now. And I think actually I've been sitting here mulling about what you just said about gameplay, Mitch. I don't think they need to show gameplay because no one, apart from people, don't actually need to buy these games anymore. They just need a Game Pass subscription.
It's fair. Yeah, that is fair.
Yeah, here's the thing about, and I get that for sure, Dan. Here was the one thing that did it, and I feel bad. Like, I will say this is Microsoft's best show in a while, in regards to like E3. But to be honest, like there are some things that are just like so confusing. It's like they had to show. So this, and Microsoft does this all the time. They're like, console exclusive or Xbox exclusive. Then they'll show the game. And then they show the release date. It has the little Game Pass thing in the corner, so you know it comes for Game Pass. But then they have to launch to another screen to say Game Pass. And it's like, dudes, I don't know what. Here's the example of the marketing team and the Xbox team. I don't know where the messaging is getting wrong here, but just throw it all on the same freaking screen of saying like this is what. And here's the thing: people are okay with what Sony does because it works. It's fine. What do? At the end of the game, they show that it's a console exclusive coming on this date, coming to this service on one screen. You don't need 3 title screens to share bits of information like this. It just infuriated me. I almost felt like I was getting bored because I was like, another screen? Oh, okay. Dong.
I think part of it is
Dong.
I think part of it is them not having faith or enough, like they don't feel like the people that are consuming this content are smart enough to understand what the hell they're doing.
Oh, they're like being very plain
I
about the
also think
information.
that
Right.
E3,
Okay.
this is being pitched to the mainstream press.
Right.
And I don't really see much about Game Pass in the mainstream press, put it like that. So I think they're trying to make people realize there is this thing that we do now called Game Pass where you can get all our games. So let's shove it down their throat.
But I think they're very like. It's not like they did that already, Dan. Like they showed
No,
off. They
I know.
showed off the release schedule and said it's all on Game
Well,
Pass. Like,
But they expect every single trailer to be clipped by itself.
and even so, there's ways
So-
they can like highlight it. Like there's a way you can highlight the font to make Game Pass stand out on that one clip and just have all the information there, but have Game Pass like, glimmering,
I
shimmering,
think-
something like that to make it. Ooh, what's Game Pass? Let me Google
I think
search
you could
it.
have done you
Like-
could have done both. So
Yeah.
you could have had the individual trailers that had the Game Pass stamp on each of those individual trailers, and then the overall presentation, which didn't have to have that because they could have just bookended it with, here's all the shit that's going to be on Game Pass. Thank you for watching. That was all the shit that's going to be on Game Pass. You know what I mean?
Or even like and I get your point. I think that what even better is like they could have just did that whole like extra title screen when they released the individual videos on YouTube. But when you're doing a
Well, that's what I'm saying.
presentation,
Yeah, that's what
when
I'm
you're doing the
saying. They should've
presentation,
just
don't
left it.
do the. Because to be honest, like I memorized
agree
the
with that,
music
yeah.
sound, and so I was just doing it in front of the screen every time the game was over. I was going dong, and I was like, okay. It like added an extra 3 minutes to the show. I swear to God, that's the thing. That's the thing. I was like, oh my God. But anyways, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm dunking on them. I don't mean to. It's just like these little things. It's like so easy to fix.
This guy hates Xbox. We all know it's
Once
true.
we get to Nintendo,
But also, maybe it
Brace
works
yourselves.
because we just spent 5 minutes talking about it.
Right.
Yeah. So we went through. Oh, what was Keith's biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise from Mr. McWomble. The sheer number of games that I will play, quote unquote, for free, thanks to the quality service that is game. This guy has such a hard on for Game Pass. It's not even.
He's gonna be
I
mad
love it.
because you added the extra color commentary to his language.
Well, hey, he knew who he was sending this to. I don't know why he would be. Okay, he's got a couple of notes here. Contraband being both on and offline is good. Want to see more about that. Already pre-installed Hades. Interesting. I didn't know he was a roguelite kind of fella. I might give Halo multiplayer a go. Viva La Forza looks visually spectacular. Was surprised at Stalker 2. Definitely be playing that. I imagine he didn't know much about Stalker, but from what he saw, he's like, I'll jump into that series. 12 minutes, Psychonauts, Somerville. Hey,
The
you got to give me more material to work with here, bud.
Yeah.
quick and concise.
I guess the one thing I will say really quick about 12 minutes, I really just want to see the game being played. Like I totally
you really
seen,
do.
I've seen so many trailers of how the game is like showing on the screen, but just play it. Like give me like a one scenario playthrough.
Give
They
me
did a
like
playthrough about a month
12
ago.
minutes. Give me like 12
Maybe.
minutes of that game.
They
Yeah.
did a playthrough about a month ago. I watched it. It's quite interesting.
But like I get that, and that's awesome.
They probably
and
should have
I-
done it at this conference.
And
I get you.
I do want you to definitely send it to me because I do want to watch it. But like, here's an opportunity to show it. Easy
And
easy
the-
layup, easy layup. Like these are easy layups for Microsoft. Gameplay, layup,
Yeah.
layup.
And then the last, do like a 12-minute gameplay of that game.
12-minute
then,
gameplay of 12 minutes.
Yes.
The final
genius.
The final note on here is replaced. Looked the most interesting game they showed, and I thought that game actually looked pretty damn cool. I love how the camera kind of like did these like weird like shake Dutch angle type of stuff.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know
was
how
interesting. Yeah.
I mean, if you're fighting guys and there's some sort of parry system, or I don't know how it works, that might be a bit much with the camera moving around while you're fighting. But yeah, so yeah, those are just some general notes from him about like what he liked. But I
Well,
guess
we're gonna get back to
big-
him because I want you to reveal his best game of show for Microsoft. Because we didn't do game of show yet. So what's Keith's
Right.
game of show?
Oh, he doesn't have one. He didn't say. Unless I
there
accidentally
one?
deleted it. Just biggest surprise, followed by this rambling of 12 minutes Psychonauts Somerville.
Oh, okay. I guess maybe that's
Yeah.
his best game of show. Okay. Dan, what's your game of show for Microsoft?
Maybe he meant replaced. He said it was the most interesting game they
Oh,
showed.
okay.
So maybe that's what he meant.
Yeah.
Age of Empires 4.
It's a good.
love
Another
it.
strategy
gamer's
guy.
choice.
Another strategy game.
Gotta keep the theme.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Keep it
I'll be
going.
honest.
Keep
I
on
didn't
the
really have a
streak.
game. I didn't really have a game of show. But the two things I'm excited to play in the next couple of months is Age of Empires 4 and 12 minutes. But I wasn't overwhelmed by anything at this conference. That's why it was a bit blur.
Games to play, right? We got some games.
Here we
Yeah.
go. Dan is like an investor. Strategy games to the moon. If people don't know that, that's what investors say when their stock's going up. Is it's to going to the moon. That's at least what they did with GameStop. Burkoff.
Everybody that listens to the podcast hopefully knows about our Wall Street bets.
Yes, yeah. Our Wall Street bets Reddit that's on there. Anyways,
Yeah, the subreddit.
Burkoff. What's your game of show?
Psychonauts 2, because the trailer that they showed is exactly what I expect from Psychonauts.
Mhm.
Just it
Looks
better.
good. It looks really good. It's a very beautiful
looks
game.
way better than the original games. So I'm totally on board for that. I think it was the best in show because it's going to be out in a month and a half. Solid, classic gameplay. Yeah.
For the
Platform.
record, I'm playing
Love
it.
to play a platform.
I'm playing it right now on Game Pass, so I'm trying to get through it just so I can go play the sequel when it comes out. So it's definitely dated, but it still platforms pretty well. Evan, oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say Psychonauts, the first one, like 2 looks just like the first one, just way improved.
Mhm.
So I think it's just gonna be tighter everything, tighter graphics, tighter controls, better story. Yeah.
Gotta tighten up those graphics on level 3. I don't know if you remember that old like come work for a video game company cheesy 90s commercial, but that was one thing from it.
All right, Evan, what's your game of show from Microsoft?
Somerville. Ex Playdead devs making a inside-like game. Look, like I'm already there. I'm like 2.5D, ominous, dark. It's atmospheric. It's got everything that I like about. Man, they make some dark games. Like Limbo is super dark. Inside is a very, very
Depressing.
dark story. Did I say dark?
It's
Did I say
depressing.
dark enough? Yeah. And Somerville looks to be similar, but it looks like an alien invasion and a family just trying to get through. Man, that Steven Spielberg War of the Worlds movie with Tom Cruise, like it's kind of like a popcorn trash movie, but it's like really good. I'm like, all right, let me be. Well, that guy did not look like Tom Cruise, but I'll do a like family escaping from an alien invasion type of thing, and from how Inside escalates, and it just gets to this point, like what the hell is going on? Like just visually interesting, constantly scratching your head, but with simple mechanics that are based on like physics, like just like pushing and pulling a ladder to jump up to the next area in the barn. And that they've definitely like they know what they're doing. They've been at Play Dead for 2 games, and I'm just really, really excited to see more of this this game. But yeah, Somerville is my is my game of the show for Xbox.
The only reason why I wouldn't pick it personally is because they've never made a game yet, so I don't want to just think that they know exactly what they're doing, because they could be they could be not the best employees from that studio, and they're just trying to recreate the same game, and it'll just be average.
Yeah, like the four like most mediocre employees left to make their own game.
Make their own game, and they just knew it would sell because they would say from the former creators of blah blah blah, you know. But anyway,
wait, I have one thing to add. And in the final scene, the family's sleeping on the couch, and they have a dog, and like you hear something's going on, like the aliens are coming, right? And the baby wakes up first, and it's supposed to be alarming because like the kid's the one that wakes up, but like what does it do, right? I think the dog would have woken up first, to be honest with you.
But
that dog is fast asleep.
Did you see the alien outside the window though, on that last shot?
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
Oh man,
that's
guess
why
who's
that's
watching
why the
that
baby that's why the
Somerville
baby got
teaser
up.
again?
That's why the baby got up, because there's an alien shadow in the light outside of the window on the right hand side.
I will watch that
I
again.
literally
But yeah,
had no idea. I had no idea what you guys were talking about until just now.
Oh, really?
That game.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Yeah.
Rafa has decided to go with, and no surprise, Forza Horizon 5, and its stunning visuals. So there's nothing need to be explained for that one.
Cars looking like cars. They look like cars.
Mine.
Yeah, I'll play it for about 5 hours because it's free. Oh, not free because I pay for a subscription, but.
My game of show, and it's surprisingly not a Microsoft exclusive, but it is coming to Game Pass, so I'm excited to play it. Atomic Heart. Holy cow! This first person shooter is wacky, wild, and then the trailer itself reminds me of a Japanese anime. It was just crazy. I was like, I've already been excited about this game, but they just keep overdoing themselves, and I'm very nervous about this game. Like, I'm excited about it. I really think it'll be a good game, but there's so much going on that I'm nervous about the mechanics overall, if they are all going to come together right, or if it's just going to be, if it's like what the trailers are, this game is going to be crazy good. But I'm excited. Unfortunately, it's coming next year. I thought I was going to make it this year, but I guess it's going to make it next year. So.
Oh, it was the game with the weird Eurovision song in it.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, it's like the Russian Just Cause, or the Russian Far Cry,
basically.
For sure.
So I like it a lot. I'm really, really excited for it. So that's my game of show. All right, putting a button on Microsoft. We now have 2 more left, because we're gonna skip Capcom, because Capcom did nada. Does Keith have any comments on Capcom?
That's it.
It's actually fun. It's funny that you say that. It's wedged in between 2 other ones. Capcom had a presentation. Wow, totally missed that. Oh well.
Oh well. Okay. All right.
So yeah.
So we are gonna go to Square Enix, because we're going in order. So Square Enix went before Nintendo. So we're gonna go to Square Enix. Square Enix. I laugh because I'm looking at Rafa's notes right now, and it's Capcom, and it just has NA, 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 and then it goes most disappointing, the event itself. So, anyways.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Anyways, Square Enix. Let's just go to the biggest surprise first. So, Square Enix biggest surprise for Rafa was, and if you guys agree with me, just say yes, because it seems like it's a pretty consensus thing. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that was the biggest surprise by far. I did not expect anything of this game. So Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be my biggest surprise and my best game in show for Square.
Ooh.
Because we got to see gameplay. So we got the full trailer intro, then gameplay, rounded out. Like, it looks fun. Yeah,
you're not worried about that jank, bro? That looks like it's got some serious jank to it.
It does. Yeah, it does.
It had some frame rate problems and some stuff.
It literally looks like they stuck in Marvel's Avengers and just went, boom, single player. No, these things aren't working right.
That's an improvement over Marvel's Avengers, though, which sadly, is the case.
I will say I love
will
the
say-
comedy. The comedy was great. I like the comedy. The writing was good.
Yep. Best line for me was so like there's a bit of like Telltale-esque like
Right.
making choices and like so and so will remember that kind
Mm-hmm.
of team dynamic going on. And after you initially all agree that you're going to send Rocket Raccoon,
Oh no, you
to
don't all
the-
agree.
the-
You decide because it was
You
a,
decided,
it's a
right.
It was
tie
Peter
vote. It was a
Quill's
tie
side,
vote.
yeah.
right? But like you kind of asked your team members, and at the end they change it to Groot, and then Drax is like, "Oh, this is an affront to democracy." I thought that was a pretty good line.
I like the line when he got tossed to the other side and he started to like swear at them. Like that was great.
Yeah.
I'll just jump on with Keith. Biggest surprise for him was Guardians of the Galaxy, aka what Marvel's The Avengers could have been.
Should
Looked
have
great.
been, yeah.
The writing was on point. Here we go. Still not buying it day one because the games industry has trained me not to. But definitely play it. This guy. I'm gonna call
It's
him
true,
Game
though.
Pass. Yeah, he's not wrong.
Um,
But yeah,
It was
he was
Marvel's
surprised
Avengers
with
for
that
me
too.
too.
I will say I'll say Marvel's Avengers is my biggest surprise as well. I mean, for the most part, I
Sorry,
really
Guardians
like
of the
it.
Galaxy, not Avengers.
I'm sorry,
The
sorry,
Avengers in my head.
Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm sorry, they look so the same that I just can't put them apart. I'm the same with Keith. This is not a day one purchase for me, but if it's like $20, I'm definitely gonna buy it. Like it's one of those kinds of games for me. Or if I could see it coming to PlayStation Plus. That's like where I see it in my brain. It's not a full price purchase, not even close for me.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
just that jank, man. Just that jank. It scares me.
I have a different. I think I'm the only one that has a different biggest surprise. We'll bowl through this pretty quickly. I've actually kept my old show notes that I typed before the show and after. So it says, let's see, FF Origins, cool idea, very anime. Combat is key. That's what I wrote before I watched the show, and now my biggest surprise is FF Origins is a bad idea. I thought it was going to be cool, and after that Origins trailer, I'm surprised. I'm surprised at how shit it looks. Hey, you know what? Wait, let me check my notes.
Should we roll right into the biggest disappointment?
What's
Yeah.
yours? Go ahead.
Fucking FF Origins. It shouldn't even be a fucking Final Fantasy game. The
You know
hell
what?
out of here.
I'm not sure, but I think this guy wants to kill. What was
Chaos?
his name again? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry, I forgot.
Sorry. Not he wants to kill chaos.
Yeah.
I'm so angry.
I'm sorry,
Die!
Jerkoff, but can we just roll into my best game of show, which is Final Fantasy Origins?
Oh, get the fuck out of here. No way.
Now I say
No.
You're
this.
serious.
I'm serious. Now
Alright.
I
I'm listening to what you're saying, but I have to, coincidentally I have to go to the bathroom. But yes,
I'm just leaving right now because I think you're talking bollocks.
okay. So here's the thing. Like I get it.
It's platinum, right?
I get it. The combat looks really good though. The combat looks
So-
very, very solid. And what I heard after the conference made it overall my game of show for Square Enix, because they said that beginning section is only that's only a sliver of the game.
Right.
So I'm based off that, I'm guessing it's not taking place all in a castle. Like it might expand into something more than just that. They also said you can change the costumes of the characters so you can make them not look like punk boys from, whatever.
Yeah, after you beat it.
Not after you beat it. Like that's part of your armor. You change your armor. So your costumes
Okay.
change with your armor.
Okay.
They said there's like 7 to 8 different weapon types. Yes. Is the banter going to be cheesy as hell? Yes. What do you expect from a Final Fantasy game, unfortunately? Like if I do expect more. I would really, really do.
I
But
would
the
like
combat
it.
looks really good to me, and I think that's the most important thing of the genre. Like if you're gonna pull off a Souls game, Team Ninja pulls off is gameplay and how it feels, how it plays, not necessarily how it looks and how the dialogue is. Yes, do I want improvement in that? Absolutely, but I'm playing the game, and that's important too.
If by armor you mean Henley neck T-shirt, then sure, you can change your armor.
I wonder if
Like,
they. I wonder if they're
I
going to
don't
offer
understand-
like classic options. I wonder if they do offer classic options though.
Yeah,
They
for
just,
$5.99.99.
They don't get it. Like this is supposed to be some sort of retelling of Final Fantasy 1 because Garland, who is like the first boss and the last boss you fight in the game, there's
No,
this
no, 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 no,
whole
no.
You're
time travel
mistaken.
thing.
No.
You're mistaken. His name is Chaos.
No, he did. He changed his name to Chaos.
Sorry,
He-
it's not. It's not.
the protagonist convinced him.
But it's
Yeah.
not. It's not a retelling of 1. It's just a spin-off of 1.
That's
That's
Okay,
what they made.
it's
that-
a spin-off
they made it
of
very
1.
clear.
Timeline.
Just using
Which
the
is a
characters from 1. That's all they're doing. That's what they said.
It's okay. So it's a spin-off of 1. It's a medieval fantasy game. What the hell is he doing? What is Nomura's like focus on this like 2001 like chain wallet?
Yeah, I know.
Like tribal
Yeah,
tattoo,
yeah.
like Henley neck the design of that character is horrible.
Thomas
And
is
it
saying
doesn't
that's my
fit in the
jam,
world.
Evan. Thomas is saying I want to wear that.
No, he's not. I think he's saying.
No.
I think he's saying let Daddy say his biggest disappointment.
Yeah.
Where the fuck was Final Fantasy 16, you bastards?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is my
That's
biggest
exactly what my
disappointment.
point was. I was
That's
so
my
excited
biggest
about that.
disappointment as well.
Like,
Mine too.
Yep.
Jesus Christ! What? You showed us
It's
more
E3.
last year. What have you done
Yeah.
for you? Have you just like pissed? Oh, we're just going to concentrate on this Zero game now, or whatever. And now we're going to go. And now we're just not going to bother with Final Fantasy 16, which looked almost done, and now it'll probably be out in 5 years.
No, Dan, I agree with you, but I think because of its exclusivity to PlayStation, here's the thing. Like, here's the crazy part was, okay, so, and this kind of reaffirmed my thought too. I think PlayStation is hanging on to it to use for their own state of play, and that's part of their contract.
In July,
Because-
right?
Maybe.
July, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Thursday,
I'm
July.
not. No, that's EA. EA is going to do something in July.
Oh, I thought they said the 12th of July. PS5, PlayStation were doing something.
No, not that I know of. Only EA is doing something in July that's right now confirmed. But anyway, the reason why I think that as well is because PlayStation made E3 remove the controller, the PlayStation controller, from the E3 promotional material. So I think PlayStation really did not want their good games to show on the E3 floor. I mean, not the E3 floor. I'm sorry. They don't want them shown at E3 because they want to save them for themselves. And I think that
Maybe-
really confirmed
yeah.
that just there, in my mind.
Maybe there is a FF16 state of play or some bigger thing happening later in the.
With a demo or something. Who knows? You know.
I would appreciate that.
Me too.
Most people would.
Um,
They saw Origins and they were like, "We're gonna go with that. We have stuff to show for FF16, but we'll go with the Chaos."
Hey, maybe
Yeah.
Sony said FF. They saw Final Fantasy Origins on the wall and said, "We don't want this exclusive to our console. Xbox can have it too."
Yeah.
You know.
See, it's not confirmed, but there was a leak.
Oh, leak.
saying
Okay,
that,
gotcha.
the event is planned for the 8th of July.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I think
You
EA
wanna
is
do
also doing
Rafa's?
something. Yeah. Rafu, a disappointment.
Yeah.
Disappointment from Square Enix. Oh my gosh! I'm surprised this didn't make anybody's list. Babylon's Fall, the most
That was-
uninspiring game I've ever seen from Platinum.
What game are you talking about now again?
Babylon's
I don't-
Fall.
I don't know what this is.
Oh,
Dude,
sorry.
I will say with Babylon's Fall, like the choice of this there's like this narrator who seems to be the boss of the Tower of Babylon, and he's got such a strange voice. And he's like, "Hello, and it's like, whoa, kind of alarming. And I was watching the Giant Bomb stream, and one of the guys started doing the voice from Roger Rabbit. When I killed your brother, I talked just like this, and I fucking lost it. It was perfect because the voice was that ridiculous. Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd, yeah.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd. Yeah. He was a two in the whole time.
When I
When I killed your
brother, I
brother,
talked just like this.
Yeah, that's how the guy sounded. Yeah, that game looked terrible. That game looked so bad. And then they had this no sound effects. La 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 la.
Oh, God.
La 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 la. I'm like, what are they? You know,
You know that what reminded me of? Soul Calibur. They always
Did
play
they do
that.
the similar
Yeah, Soul
thing?
Calibur always plays like the la 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 while they're like showing off the character doing their whip move to like before the fight.
Do
Because
they at least have sound effects?
yes,
Because
they
that would
do.
help.
That
Yeah.
helps.
Okay.
But yeah, Babylon's Fall.
What is
Just
the point of this game? Platinum just like let's
Cash
just turn
grab.
up like shovelware. That's
Yeah.
what it feels
bad,
like.
it's bad platinum.
PlayStation 2 era, like bollocks. It feels like,
well,
where
I,
they-
like
everyone
God-
lays
it's like
too
God
much
so I
bombs
watched Square Enix. I watched actually almost all these conferences post. Not the only one I watched live was Nintendo.
Right.
So I actually got to see them in like their full quality, and Babylon's Fall looks so much better not being streamed. Like I
Oh,
did
really?
I did
Okay.
see the stream version because I watched the reshot of the sifted coverage, and it looks a lot worse on the stream. It looks so much better.
I had loads of
visually,
issues with
but I
Sifted
think like
stream.
the game still looks
I ended
bad.
up watching it on something else
All other elements, but
because they get them
The-
buffering on Twitch.
The
It's really
art
annoying.
direction doesn't save it though. It's still fucking boring.
oh sure, oh no, it's
Yeah.
I'm not defending it. I'm not defending it. I'm just saying
like
graphically,
God-
it's not that bad.
It's Godfall again. There's nothing about it that stands out.
Oh, which is also coming to PS4, which we found out
Yeah.
at the 2K conference.
I'll do so McWomble's biggest disappointment. The rest of the chaos presentation. Kill chaos! Exclamation point. Square Enix wins the award for the biggest trolls of E3, and he does have a point, and this is something that we haven't brought up, and this killed me.
The
With
Pixel
that
remasters.
Final Fantasy announcement, yeah. Funniest of all was you get the quote unquote 10 free summons, meaning if you play on mobile, you need to buy them. You gouge those Final Fantasy fans, Square Enix. They're good for it. It's true. They also win the award for most pre-order mentions. Good job, Square. I'm guessing he counted, and I'm not surprised. So, yeah.
No, yeah.
My most disappointing from Square Enix is going to have to be, just how long they took on. Oh geez, now I forgot the name of the game. True Colors. Was
Was
it
it
called?
long? I skipped
Life
through it
is
because I'd
Strange.
already
Life
seen
is
it
Strange.
from
Thank you.
the
Life
the
is
prior.
Strange. True Colors. Games are fine. I think they did not need to take 15 minutes on this game, 10 to 15 minutes.
No.
I love they showed gameplay. I'm all for it. Like you get bonus points when you show gameplay in my book. Always. But the thing is, we've seen all this gameplay before. They never showed us anything new. And I get they don't want to spoil anything for this game, but then you didn't need to spend 15 minutes on this stuff when you showed us all these scenes already 6 months ago. If you don't have anything new to show, then just show me short snippets. I don't want to see it again.
Yeah. And I like those games too, Mitch. I platinumed Life is Strange and After the Storm. That's what they should have said. They're like, bro. They should have said bro, right? Bro, comma. 1,000 achievement points / platinum trophy, bro. You're like True Colors. But I'm gonna play it. But yeah, they didn't, and it looks cool. But yeah, you don't need to spend 15 minutes on it.
Did someone comment on our stream, Burkoff? Is that where you're laughing?
Yeah, I was laughing at both McWomble and Tom Braders. So Tom
McWomble can
Braders,
come on the show. McWomble, just hop on. I'll add you. Just message
No,
me
he'll,
on
he'll troll from the sidelines.
message me on Discord if you want to hop on.
he's probably too hungover to
But
deal with.
I'm
trying
telling
to
him
be on
now, if he
stream right
wants
now.
to hop on, he can message me on Discord and I will get him on. So just let me know.
He would have been celebrating the draw last night. He was celebrating the tie. It was a big result for
So
Scotland.
exciting.
Yeah, I did think it was quite amusing because obviously Shane said he was going to go up on Friday, and I was thinking, I hope it's not his normal time because all his UK viewers will be watching the football, and they were. There was like 30 people less of every other stream this week, which I have a feeling were UK listeners.
Well, when you mentioned that he actually gained 20 more back, so he got his average back up to where
did
it
he?
usually is. So he was good.
Yeah, good.
All right. Any other last things about? Did we cover everything for?
Most disappointing of Square Enix?
Yeah. Did you say yours yet?
No, the fucking Pixel remasters.
That is. I changed mine. I'm with Matt. Yeah, that is
that
that was the
Jesus
biggest
Christ.
troll.
Is that the phone remasters
Yeah, all right. So
exclusively to
troll.
your cell phone and PC?
let me let me just point this out. Like, okay, so when they did the Final Fantasy VII on PS4,
Mhm.
right? They brought the PC version to the PS4. On the screen was Final Fantasy VII about 70% the full of the full amount of the screen. Okay. The pixel remasters of Final Fantasy 1 through 6, less than 25% of the screen is what we saw for each of the games. These are
Yeah.
going to be horrible fucking ports. They're selling us the ROMs over again. I'm so mad at this shit.
And they pretended like, do they not know their audience? The official, the best 2D remasters to
Yeah,
date
get the
of this
fuck out of here.
series, and they're like, they even made original like built-in like logos, like everything, like 1, 2, 3, and they're going through it. It's like yes,
Right.
yes, 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 mobile.
Yeah, I was all excited. I was like, "Holy shit, we're gonna get these on consoles." Nope.
They don't know what they're doing.
Really? Because the people that grew up with these games love to play it on touchscreens without any
Yeah,
buttons.
with terrible
So
sprites,
sound
redesigned
deaf.
sprites.
So sound deaf.
I'm not bothered
Yeah.
because I wouldn't play
Just
them
tone
anyway.
deaf.
Whenever
Yeah.
they came on.
That's the biggest troll I've seen since they pretended that like the Final Fantasy VII port to PS4 was going to be the remake with everyone. You remember? Yeah, like you were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have no idea what they're doing. Or maybe they do. They're making enough money off this shit, so who knows?
I guess. Yeah.
All right. So our last
one.
conference, last but not least, Nintendo.
Get down to brass tacks, fellas.
All right. I was about to say, and I want to see how Evan. Okay, I told McWombly could
Sorry,
hop on if he wanted, and here's what he said, quote unquote. I don't know if he wants me to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I'm not in form from last night, one, and he wants to see how Evan does my Nintendo quote unquote review.
He does have quite a few notes here, so we'll see
How
what
does
happens.
he have it broken down? Does he have it broken down by everything, or does he have a paragraph?
Well, you might be surprised to know that he doesn't have a best of show for Nintendo.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
it's yeah.
let's just go.
It's-
Let's just go
yeah.
to biggest surprise, and I can start. And I get everyone's gonna say Metroid, so I'm gonna let them take it. You know, my biggest surprise is the announcement of Mario Party bringing back all the old great mini games from all the great Mario Party games that like you have to go back to the N64 to try to play, or sometimes even the
Right.
GameCube, with boards from back in the day, and throw it into a mashup of Mario Party. I am so pumped for that. Like people have no idea how much like me and my friends are huge Mario Party fans. And
Are you? I didn't know that.
Holy camoly.
Me too, Mitch.
Like,
I was so excited.
We
about
are
this
so
announcement.
excited. Like we all texted each other and again, we're buying this. Day one, we're playing online with each other because you can play online with your friends. Like it is
Wow.
perfect. If there's anything they could announce for Mario Party, this is exactly what they should have done. Even my friend sent me a screenshot of the specific one where you have the Bowser in the background and you have to push the lever down. And if you get the wrong lever, you get blown up and off, and it's like musical chairs. And there's some bad repressed memories of me kicking their asses. And they sent it to me and brings up bad memories. And so like, it's just, I didn't think they had the guts enough to do it, to be truthfully honest. After the last Mario Party, the game they released, I thought it was really good for like kind of being away from form for the last Mario Party games, probably like the last 3 Mario
I
Party
enjoyed
games.
it. I played loads of hours in it.
The last one was kind of up their form, but I was like, oh, they're Nintendo. They're never going to go back and like bring up the old ones that we love. And they fucking did it. Biggest surprise. I was shocked. Evan, biggest surprise.
Let me just hold my beautiful baby.
Metroid
Did you know that?
5.
Did you know that this is actually squishy?
You know, hold it closer. I can't see it.
Metroid. Squishy. This thing goes for like $100 now in
These
Japan.
are
And I'm
amiibos.
like,
Jesus, Evan,
maybe
Evan,
I.
Evan, you got to hold it up to your mic and squish it because our audio listeners can't hear the sound of the squishing when you're putting it in front of the
I, I
camera.
I'm squishing the jelly-like material that surrounds the brain of a Metroid
Is
on
this
this.
your amiibos, Evan?
Yeah, these are my amiibos. So I'm a huge Metroid fan, and like Matt Kyle from Sifted Games, and as he has constantly said and consistently said across many Game Face episodes, that Metroid doesn't get a lot of love, not as much as Link and Mario, the Legend of Zelda and Mario series. And in one way, if you want to go corporate with it, it's like we don't sell enough copies of these fucking games, so we're not going to make enough of them. So I don't think he or someone like me ever thought that they were going to release a Metroid game, and not just a Metroid game, but like legitimately Metroid 5. And by the way, where's the camera? Where is it? All these streamers
Yes.
who are so focused on trying to be snarky, like
Preach.
Metroid 5, what the hell are they talking about? Like, dude, it's a callback to Metroid 3, aka Super Metroid. The opening of that game starts with a black screen, typing, Nintendo presents, and it keeps going to this very creepy scene of these scientists dead, and the space pirates have stolen the Metroid. Ridley has stolen the Metroid.
3.
Yeah, and it says in typing, like the type builds up, Metroid 3. It's a callback to that, and I'm just surprised that these, like, journalists or whatever, former journalists that have been, doing this for like 20 years, that they didn't remember that that's how they released Super Metroid. So it's Metroid 3, but we all know it is Super Metroid. Metroid 5, but we know this is Metroid Dread.
As a person that's never seen, well, this is also Rafa's pick, just so you know, also as big a surprise. One thing I will say, Evan, I've never played a Metroid game, but here's the thing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think one of the most fascinating things I found about that was the fact that it kind of puts a little spin on the genre with having the creatures chase you that you can't actually kill, which kind of forces you to do more, perform your platforming and be smarter. Because like she did things like turned invisible and was able to like climb certain objects. It looks like after she gets certain types of gear, but the fact that you kind of have something like the Nemesis. To my knowledge, it hasn't happened in a Metroid game, and I think that's a way to freshen up the genre, especially to kind of up the tension is what I'm kind of going for.
Yeah, totally. I agree. And they have never had this type of system in their games where you have to run away from an enemy unless you have a specific power-up that's like you can only use once to kill them. As much as I hate invincible enemies in games, watching the treehouse afterwards, I like what I saw, and it seems like the Emmys are all different in some sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a door showing you like, okay, this is, once I enter this door, I'm going to like fight an Emmy. And like the first ones are quite simple, similar to Metroid 2, where like the first Metroids that you kill or fight rather are quite easy to kill. And then as you progress through the game, they get more and more difficult. They have more and more moves. Like the first one can't climb on walls, but if there's a ledge that's close enough, it can grab it and climb up. And then the other Emmys, they can start climbing on walls. And I'm sure they haven't played all their cards yet to where like maybe some of the Emmys later in the game are very, very difficult to get away from. And I do like that tension. And I'm just glad it's like a classic. Of course, in a perfect world, I want pixel art. I want a 2D Metroid, but you go 2.5D with it. Yeah, I'm happy. And one thing, and I know Burkoff, you want to say something about this, something quickly. I was not happy with how the 3DS game from Mercury Steam, the remake of Metroid 2, Return to Samus, looked. Because it's a 3DS game. It's got jagged lines. It's like the textures aren't very, they don't look great. Upon closer inspection, it's actually quite simple. But when I got that game in my hands, the gameplay, and like it is old school Metroid. It feels good. The sound design is great. Just the parrying system, everything feels so good that I forgot about like, okay, it doesn't have the high fidelity of whatever the consoles can produce at that time. And this game does not look that great either.
I don't care though. I don't really care.
Right. So I was with Kyle Bosman brought this up where like it doesn't graphically look that great, and they're doing this weird thing where it's like kind of glowing around the character, and they're stylizing it in a way because they're trying to make up for the deficiencies of the
Yeah.
hardware that they have to put it on. However, because that Mercury Steam remake was so good, like that game is great, the one that they made on the 3DS. Like they have all of my confidence that this game is going to be great as well. So yeah.
So my thoughts. It is all of the things that you just said, but it also has the counter maneuver from the
that flashy move.
number 2 remake, but you can do it at any time. So
Yeah,
it's
not just like
it's not a reaction thing. It's anytime you think it should be something you should do. And
I like that.
In that regard, it actually changes up the gameplay quite a bit because it's not just a reaction to what's on screen. It's like it's an actual choice of when do I use this ability type of thing.
It's preventive error.
Preventive.
Yeah,
like
preventive. Yeah, I can't say the word, but you know
preventive.
what I mean.
Yeah, or like it's proactive instead of reactive, or however you want to put it.
Sure.
Right, exactly. So it changes up the mechanics a little bit, and that's a solid choice, I think. The graphics I think look good. I really like what Bloodstain did, and to me,
That is
Metroid
true.
5. To
kinda
me,
similar, right?
Metroid 5 is going to be exactly what Bloodstain was, and it's going to be that spiritual successor, and in this case, it's going to be the actual, sequel to Metroid Fusion. So I'm happy about it. And it's coming out this year. I'm gonna fucking buy it.
I pre-ordered the special edition. I feel bad.
I know.
My,
I saw you
my
post-
friend
I saw you post
he
about
did
that.
the same thing and got the steel book. Like he's like, I'm a sucker for steel books, and this one looks good.
Yeah, I'm everything I hate.
My
Was that
biggest
your
surprise?
Sorry, hold on. I just wanted to check with Burkhoff. Is that your biggest surprise as well?
For Nintendo. Yeah.
Okay, so Dan, what is your biggest surprise?
I'm pretty sure you could all guess it, to be honest.
Metroid 5.
No, it's the
Advance Wars
Yeah,
1
that
and
one,
2.
that
yeah,
one, yeah.
baby.
Oh,
Woo!
dude,
I
I love
strategy games coming out my ears.
It's the tactics game, really?
Fantastic. Yeah.
I love how
was gonna say it's the
Dan
tanks game.
is dedicated. He's dedicated
This
going through this
is-
entire
He's
That's
thing.
all in.
Conference.
He's all in.
This is the conference of the strategy game for me. There's so much great strategy goodness. Microsoft were the only ones who let me down. It was fantastic. I was so excited. I was so excited for that when they came out because me and Erebus Jones were chatting about it, and he goes, "There's no way they're going to do anything for Advance Wars." I was like, "I know. I just want them just to remaster the first two. That'd be fine." And there we come.
Not only get you get the
Beautiful.
first one, Dan, you get the second one too.
I know. I'm a bit bitter about the price. So as I've got some, I may wait, but I will be playing this game. So it's just more strategy games on the not on the bus anymore because I've changed jobs, but on my sofa, on handheld, which really winds Evan up, on my Switch. Happy days.
How dare you not play that on a beautiful 55
I know. I
inch
hate
OLED.
playing it on a TV screen. The only game I play it on a TV screen are Mario Kart and Mario Party. And any kind of Mario Party game, that's the only time it gets plugged in. Every other game is just played between me and the screen, immersed in that.
Me in the screen. I
All
like
right,
that.
so let's go from surprising because we want to end on a high note for Nintendo. So we're gonna go. The last one will be Game of Show for Nintendo, but we're gonna go to most disappointing first, and I'll start with Rafa because I think I'm not gonna join him on this one, but he know we all know what he picked, right? No sports story.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had hyped it up.
Yeah, that's
It was
right.
It was gonna
Well,
come out. Yeah.
and apparently they released a statement. He's super happy about it, but basically, if you don't know sports story, they said that the tennis they decided to expand it into further levels, and so they're going to be working on that, and that's why it's taking so long, and that they are excited and all that kind of stuff. So he's happy, but he's disappointed he didn't see anything of sports story. What's Keith's most disappointing?
All right.
As you sit with your paper.
I actually can't. So he said biggest surprise and biggest disappointment. I can't parse what is what. I'm pretty sure all he means is biggest disappointment.
It's
there's
it's
humor
the
here.
biggest surprise that's a disappointment.
Yeah, there's no way he's surprised because he's not that much of a Nintendo person. Um, that the presentation pushed me to trade in my Switch, boxed up and ready to go.
What?
Who is this man? How are we like? Okay, so my other friends in Japan, we joke about like if we didn't like drink beer together, like what the hell would we talk about? Like I don't know if we'd be friends. Like we share a common, hobby in drinking, but I don't know about this man anymore. Okay, he continues on. There was literally nothing that made me think I wanted to pay the Nintendo tax. Nintendo claimed runner-up spot for biggest troll of E3. I'm pretty sure he's referring to Square Enix for the Final Fantasy thing as number one, with the legendary Game & Watch, Zelda Game & Watch, that Evan has probably on pre-order. Now, I tried to pre-order it. It is not up on pre-order, but I will get it because I want to complete my
Collection
edition of this, which is actually unopened. It's still got the sticker on it. This is not
my
for
brother
playing.
bought that for his son for Christmas, and he's loving it. So he'll probably buy him the Zelda one as well. It's a good little.
It's just
child's
super
gift.
neat.
You
This
don't
is
want them
just
to
like
play on
a
console. Like
Yeah.
it's old school. I like them. I think they're.
The boxing reminds me of the Game Boy.
It's just so cool. It's one of those artifacts that like this is something that you don't play, you keep on your shelf and you enjoy, or whatever. If you're a kid, you play it. So he says that I probably pre-ordered it. I tried, I couldn't do it. There's a spacesuit lady fighting a PS5 robot. That's actually pretty funny. How does she turn into a ball? No realism, 0 points. That makes no sense. Game is trash. Oof. Why is an Italian plumber in green overalls ice skating on a golf course? Green overalls? I don't.
Luigi.
Blue overalls?
Luigi.
Talking about Luigi.
Oh,
Does
but
he-
he wears blue overalls, not green. His t-shirt's green.
There's
Oh,
no
you're right.
ice.
You're right. He does
There's
wear
no-
blue
yeah.
overalls.
Well,
Clearly
clearly
he
we're
wasn't
dealing
paying
with a man
attention.
who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. There's no ice on the golf course. Trash. Shin, comma, knee, Mega Man's feeling tense. What the fuck JRPG bullshit is this now? Trash. Wario Cross Cooking Mama. Are you shitting me? This guy does not know that WarioWare is a thing?
Oh, I was so happy to see WarioWare. I love
WarioWare
that.
is
Dude,
fantastic. It's so much fun.
Mick Womble, I guarantee you play a WarioWare game for 5 minutes, you'd be smiling like a fucking fool. I guarantee that. Dragon Romp Saga or some shit. Trash. Who is a Zelda, and why don't you play as her in the game named after her? Oh, but wait. Some of the gay is now some of the game is now in the sky. Well, blow me down with a glider. Hope that Link bloke doesn't suffer from hypoxia. I don't even know what that is. I'm sorry, I'm an English teacher. I failed everyone. And how will he get his
lack of
horse up
oxygen.
there? Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You'd think Ganon would get the message by now and just fuck off somewhere else. Trash. 10 out of 10, game of the year. So, yeah. Wow.
It's funny
Can
because some
I-
of the games that Keith has suggested me play on Xbox Game Pass, I would say are much more inferior to some of these games. So I think the reason he's upset is because there's not a Nintendo Game Pass. I think if there was a Game Pass on Nintendo, he wouldn't be trading his Nintendo in.
This guy would be all about it if there was a
Yeah.
Nintendo Game
You
Pass.
wanna
He would,
get-
he would be drooling. He
You
would
want-
be playing all these games.
You want to know my most disappointing?
What?
It's Keith's most disappointing.
And
Yeah,
that
he trashed
is-
everything.
It's
What a-
just
what a-
Keith's
what a-
most
what a-
disappointing list.
What a mean man.
That's so-
This guy doesn't like fun. He just wants to. He just wants to.
He wants to
log
play.
on to some.
No, he wants to play his hero shooters all day long, on
Yeah, just
on
vacuous
Xbox
gameplay.
Game Pass.
grays and browns and just get on and play for 3 minutes and get off. Just yeah.
And guess what? We can
Disappointing.
mock him like this because he's not on the stream to defend himself.
That's what he gets for not waking
Most
up.
disappointing
Who's
was
who's
not seeing a Zelda remake of the like N64 games. That was mine just disappointing from the conference.
So actually,
Oh, like
Dan,
some sort of remake?
yours is kind of on mine a little bit. So my actual most disappointing, I was joking about Keith, but my most disappointing is that we are not getting a Twilight Princess / Wind Waker announcement. Those are two
bring 'em
Zelda
from the
games
Wii U.
I have not touched, and I very much have always wanted to play, and I never had the opportunity to. And I'm super mad that Skyward Sword is the one they decide to remaster first.
Yeah,
just
that
like-
is a terrible decision.
I was like, seriously, guys, Wind Waker is iconic because of the look of the game. Like, it's one of the most iconic looking.
It's not that good of a Zelda game.
It's not the
really.
greatest.
No, it's
game.
really
okay.
it's good. It's really
but
good.
The ship stuff is quite fun. The most fun I had with that game, remembering back, was plugging in my Game Boy to my GameCube and having like the companion have thingy on the companion app like guiding me for like treasures. That's probably the most exciting thing I remember as a child when I was playing that game.
It's okay. Burkoff didn't mean it. He didn't mean to say that.
For the audio listeners, Evan's stroking his Wind Waker
Toon Link.
amiibo.
All right. So, any more disappointings before we move on?
Yeah, I haven't done mine.
Okay.
My two biggest disappointments.
No, you have
for
to pick
the-
one. You can't do two. You can't do one.
It's split between
You can do
Kazuya being in Smash at the beginning and the Game and Watch. It's like
You have to-
really like
what do you mean?
the Game and Watch. I don't want to buy another thing to get more Zelda.
No, you have to.
Fucking-
You don't play it. You buy it and you put it away and you never touch it
Yeah,
again.
no, I'm not gonna buy that shit.
It's hoarders. They're breeding hoarders.
Nintendo fans are hoarders. I have all these
delight.
fucking amiibo around me. Yeah.
As I said, I think someone with like young children, if you don't want them playing your consoles because it's a bit overwhelming on their eyes, especially with like the big ass flat screens behind me, like having a little Game and Watch to play on, like old school, like you did, rather than trying to dig out your like classic Game Boy from like the drawer and dust it off. It's quite. I can see why it sits, and it's actually quite for families that can't afford a console for their children. It's like affordable. Reasonably affordable, and they've got hours of fun.
No,
Dan.
Dan. No, parents understand how valuable that thing is. They ain't gonna hand that child that expensive piece of hardware. Hell no, because that thing's gonna be worth twice as much money in like 10 years.
I'm all for Dan's suggestion. Absolutely, let the kids play it because just having it sit in a package does no good to
ridiculous.
anybody.
No, exactly.
It goes more to your pocketbook.
So what
Burkoff.
Evan's going to do
It's an
is he's
investment.
going to be there, and he's to think he's going to have making money, and then he'll have a child, and then realize I don't want buying my child this console, but I've got this 10-year-old thing that really, who cares? You can play this.
Well, I kept
Evan,
all of my amiibo.
there is a population shortage in Japan. That is a possibility.
is.
You might have kids. They might give you money.
I find that like hard to believe, considering all of my friends have at least one child. One has two, the other has three. I don't think I need to contribute, to be honest with you.
That's
fair
a-okay.
enough.
You can be the hoarder of the family, and that's a-okay.
I'm a
Do the
child.
crazy
I don't need
uncle,
one.
where the nephews nieces come round and go, Uncle Evan, don't touch that. That is for display only.
Do not open the box. All right, we're gonna go to game of show, best game show, for Nintendo. Burkoff, what is your game of show?
My game of the show is probably going to be Shin Megami Tensei 5.
That is
Just
my
because we
game
haven't
of
talked
show.
just
Oh,
because we haven't
nice.
talked about it, and because it looks fun, it's coming out this year, and because I already picked Metroid 5 for a previous, so
Uh,
Isn't it
SMT5.
turn-based? Is it turn-based?
it's
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
so here's the
You've got your
thing.
Turn-based, Matt. You've been waiting for your turn-based RPG for a while.
I have, yes.
Ish. RPG-ish.
And Matt, the reason why it's on my list as well is because I love Persona 5. And you know what they keep? The combat. The combat is very similar to Persona 5. That was so much fun. I am so excited to play hours and hours of this kind of RPG. It's got the Pokemon style in regards to, friendly familiars, using familiars, fusing familiars. Like, it's got all the combat stuff that I love in Persona 5 in this game.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, like I think the sim stuff is interesting for Persona, and that's its own nunsura non grata. Like that's their thing, and that's fine. That's cool. I'm interested to try Shin Megami Tensei to see what's their flavor. What's their flavor that's going to get me going besides just that combat.
Yes.
So I'm excited.
It's about the factions. So Shin Megami Tensei is going to be about you exploring this Tokyo wasteland and then deciding which of the factions you want to side with to
and I love
go
that.
to the end with.
I love that. Like it's the combat enough is going to keep me going, but the fact that I really am interested to see what's your flavor. What's that commercial? Tell me what's your flavor. I'm excited. I'm just really pumped to try it. I think I'm excited for it. So, Evan,
That's cool. Yeah.
What's your game of show?
Oh, I think we all know what this game is. It's got to be Breath of the Wild, the sequel to Breath of the Wild. We don't know the subtitle because the devs, or I don't know if it was Aonuma. It's not Aonuma. It's It's Aonuma. Ken Watanabe. Every A is pronounced exactly the same, no matter where it is in the sentence. There you go.
Japanese lesson
It
from
is always
Evan.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually quite simple. All vowel sounds have one pronunciation. It's not like English where, depending on its combination between vowels and consonants, that the pronunciation changes. So I don't know who had said that, but someone said that the subtitle would possibly give away some sort of gimmick or hook.
No, it said it would give away the something about the story that they haven't yet revealed.
Right.
Which it is also Rafa's choice. I just wanted to put that in there. Rafa's choice also is on your list.
Right, and then Rafa are kind of bouncing these like theories off of each other where maybe it has to do with time. It's a split timeline, like the link on the ground is different from the link in the sky, or Ganon has infected Link's arm and is trying to take over his body because he basically gave all his life force to the Calamity Ganon.
Yeah.
Or yeah. So it's like a mixture of his body, and there's something going on there. Like I love that they didn't show his face for a reason. Link's face is Link on the ground a placeholder for Zelda, where Zelda is on the ground and Link's in the sky. I don't know, but like the main reason is like I will agree, and this is Kyle Bosman again. They didn't show a lot of that game. Like the year before. Breath of the Wild 1 came out, when it came out in March of 2017, during E3 of 2016, they just totally blew that game out. And like, This is exactly what this game is. And the trailer was really, really long. And what we got was very, very short, which worries me that this game is not at a place similar to what Breath of the Wild was in 2016 when they released that massive trailer during E3. They say 2022, but we got so little of in this trailer that I'm just worried that they haven't this game is not March. It's not Q1. It's financial Q4.
It's probably Q4.
We'll get to it, Evan, but I think in my mind this is one of my thoughts of Nintendo just held it back because it wants its own Nintendo Direct for it, and it's really going to come out.
Oh, and they'll totally they'll totally do that.
And it's going to come out March of next year to mark the anniversary of when it launched last time, because I wonder again, like this is going to be the conversation we'll have later for a little bit. I know the show was going to be longer, so I know we're longer than we usually are, and that's fine.
I got plenty of beer.
But what was I gonna say? Oh, but I think they intentionally did not show a lot of it because I think they have a special Nintendo Direct for it, and they just wanted to show something at E3.
I hope you're right. I hope that's the case.
Through the trailer we saw plenty of gameplay elements that I could easily say they would show us in a gameplay trailer later.
Sure.
But I disagree with all your theories on what the heck is happening with Link. I think you can just like
How
I think
dare
you can mess with his outfits and stuff and mess with his hair and stuff. And so that's like options for cosmetics. And then I think it found a weapon that is able to attach to his arm that allows him to do a lot more things, including the physics type stuff and shoot things from his arm. Like I think he found a tool, and that
Well,
Ganon's not taking over.
they got
his
rid
arm.
of the Sheikah slate because the Wii U pad has nothing to do with this game
Right.
anymore.
So
they're just like, okay, let's just attach. He has a thing now that allows him to do all the powers from the first game,
Exactly.
and then some. Yeah.
Yep.
There's definitely a time thing involved where
He went backwards
stops
in time. He went backwards in time to go upwards through the
right
ceiling.
And then the moment where he stops the chain, the spiked ball,
Made it go backwards.
At first, he made it go backwards. So I think what he did is he reversed time to bring it to a prior point as it was. It fell down, and then he was able to send it back to where it originally was. So they've the mechanics in the first game were very clever with all those things, and I'm sure like they had a lot of ideas that they couldn't put into the first game. Very common. They did the same thing with Galaxy to Galaxy 2. They cut stuff that they couldn't put in the first game, put it in the second game. So I'm sure there's some mechanics that they'll add to these Sheikah Slate powers and stuff. But yeah.
Dan,
I'm looking forward
best
to
in
it.
show.
Gaming best in show. Well, I kind of agree with both of you, like Evans and Matt. But just to be controversial, I'm going to say no one's mentioned this game and no one gives it enough credit. I think Shane and Matt but who cares about that game? 2 Point Campus coming to Nintendo Switch next year. I'm so excited for that game.
Have you played Hospital?
I've completed Hospital on PC and Switch.
Oh man,
And with all the DLC.
You're a huge fan.
I played Hospital on Game Pass, and it just got too repetitive. I ended up stopping after a bit. Like, I get it. There's elements of it that's really, really fun, but
I religiously played, just for background, when I was a child.
I couldn't.
Religiously played Theme Hospital.
I couldn't.
So I religiously played Theme Hospital as a child. So for me, it's like right up my alley. The only thing I'm sad about is they didn't bring back Bloaty Head, which was the best deformity.
I think honestly, instead of going to like a school, I think 2 Point should have done something a little more unique. That's all. Like I again, Hospital was fun for a temporary amount of time, but I wish they went a different method. All right, so that is Nintendo. We are all done with all the conferences. Woohoo! All right, so now that we are done with the conferences, we have 2 overall categories we must figure out before we can move forward and talk about just one last topic type thing, because it's just about E3 in general. But then let's go to biggest announcement across the entire E3. Burkoff, what is your biggest announcement?
Elden Ring. That was the biggest announcement because nobody thought that shit was ever going to come out. And they gave us a release date.
At some point. Yeah.
They gave us a release date. They showed us what the game actually looks like. Yeah, I'm actually really excited about this because if it is an approachable Soulsborne game, then I'm all about it.
It's not a Soulsborne game, Burkoff. It's a Souls game. Didn't you hear? It's a sequel to the Souls franchise.
All right, okay. If it's in that same vein, but it's approachable, I'm all about it, and I'm very interested.
I think they said it was easier, but it's still not easy.
Right.
They did say it was easier, yeah.
Evan, I think now I understood why, and this is for Burkoff. I on the Discord when they showed this game, I was like, wow, this game looks like every other Souls game I've ever seen aesthetically.
Looks
and
yeah,
I
looks dated.
and I
It
was
looks, yeah.
I was kind of hoping for something fresh. Just a fresh. They've done a really good job, even though it's been dark. They've done a good job with like changing, like the goth church type style with Bloodborne, the dark samurai with Sekiro, and now that they say it's a sequel to the Souls, I now understand the aesthetic better, And I think maybe they should have said that a little bit more upfront, and I might have been a little less harsh on being like, wow, this just looks like a Souls game, and it's not as inspiring as I was hoping. As they were saying, it's like, it's the culmination, and I'm like, oh, well, that doesn't look like culmination, just looks like the same game with some updates. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping more for the story. Like that's
I'm with you, Berghoff. I'm excited to play this game. Sorry, I don't mean to sound like I'm bagging on it. I'm excited for it. I'm just,
that's that's where I feel like the most improvement can come from. Not only reducing the difficulty, but improving the story and the narrative. Because all the Souls games before have been very sort of like ambiguous narrative, and it's like kind of embedded in the environments and things like that. And as much as I like that stuff, having a game that's more explicit about its narrative, but still having that Souls like environment, I think is cool.
especially with someone like George R.R. Martin, who's writing the thing.
Exactly.
I think you have potential there for sure in the story department, which I think they Souls kind of lacked overall plots. Like it had great subplots and it had great lore, but like an overarching plot, it lacked.
It was narratively deficient, like
For
all
sure.
those games are.
For sure.
Yeah.
So that was one
yeah.
thing appetizing for me about that, for sure.
Yeah, I annually look up a Bloodborne like YouTuber that breaks down the story of that game.
Oh yeah, it's
and,
fascinating.
And that's an annual. It's super fascinating, but I forget what happened and then like remind myself through this video.
Yep.
And then forget the next year and do it. But yeah, so it would be nice if it was a bit more absorbable in game instead of like dissecting like the lore from the knife that actually is referring to this character that's not explicitly talked about in the game per se. Yeah, so I get what you're coming from, Berkoff.
I'll list Rafa's right now really quick. Crazy part was I didn't look at this ahead of time, and I should have read it before, because then I should have told him to send a correction, because he gave me biggest announcement from all the different conferences instead of the biggest announcement of all conferences. I think he just misread it. So I'm going to name one that isn't on the list that he did not mention before, which is Avatar from Ubisoft, saying quote unquote, looking solid and being its own separate thing from the movie.
This guy loves James Cameron.
So that's his. What's Keith's?
Forgot about
So Keith pretty much said the tail end, the bookend rather, of this whole piece of paper here is the funniest things from E3, not necessarily the best of. So he has said all of the From Software fanatics crying over them making some changes to make it more accessible for new players, right? So funny to Mr. McWumble. And the best one from Twitter, and I don't know what he's referring to, muscly guy posing as profile pic. Tweet read, "I want it hard," all caps. Yes,
What?
I'm sure he does.
The fuck is he talking about?
I have
Many
no idea.
jokes. I don't know. I'm muscly guy posing as profile pic. I'm guessing he's referring to like chaos guy, but I don't know.
See, this is why Keith should have been on the show.
This is like some Dark Souls lore.
Right, I have no idea.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. We have to watch a
happened.
YouTube video just to like figure out what it is. Dan, what is your overall best in show game?
God, there wasn't really much, was there? Let's be honest.
The biggest announcement.
Sorry, biggest announcement. My bad.
Biggest announcement. Well, has to be Mario versus Rabbids. Would that be my best of show? Probably not. But like,
Sorry, best in show is not a category. Sorry, it's biggest announcement. So you got it
biggest
right.
announcement. That's probably my biggest announcement. But I'm just a bit blur about the whole E3 this year, and I'm not sure whether E3. Well, I know we're going to talk about it in a minute, but I think that kind of feeds on a lot of what I've got to say about the future of E3 a bit later on if we do get to that. But yeah, so that is my biggest announcement. I think it's quite sad that is my biggest announcement. That's what I'm going to say. I honestly think lack of Sony being there was a real issue for me, because I feel like if Sony had been there, I probably would have a lot more to say, but that's
Yeah.
because so Xbox currently hasn't shown me anything or I haven't played anything where I'm like, that's going to be fantastic. I think if Outer Worlds have been like closer to like as in like it was coming out sooner and had seen some gameplay and stuff, that might have tipped me over the edge because I did really enjoy that when I've only got an Xbox and played through that game. I did really enjoy that game. I loved at the end where it told you everyone's past and what you'd fucked up and how you'd affected their lives or not affected their lives depending. So that may have been, but yeah, I just found the whole of E3 a bit blur. So for me, it's Mario versus Rabbids. Take that as you will. I'm excited for that game, but I don't think it should be a best of E3 ever.
All right,
So.
my biggest announcement is going to be Metroid Dread.
Really?
And
Metroid 5.
Yeah, Metroid 5 Dread will be my biggest announcement. Because here's the thing, and I'll keep this really short. Metroid has been a franchise where people have thought not only like it was Dread, it was dead. Like that's where people have been viewing Metroid as like a franchise. And
that's
so
a running joke. Yeah.
And to see that Nintendo really is going to back it. And not only back it, and now I didn't understand because I'm too young to that was a slight to you guys because you're old.
This guy's flexing his age. What's going on here?
I got it.
But anyways, I was too young to realize, and thank God I was watching something like Sifted to help me realize what Dread actually meant to people, because that context matters. And to understand that game was announced almost 20 years ago when I was 8 years old, and that it was rumored to be in development for that long and never saw the light of day, and to shock people like that. Like not only Nintendo to bring back a Metroid, to bring back some kind of Metroid game, but to bring back one that people thought was dead for 20 years when it was rumored to be worked on. The
title matters.
Yeah, the title matters, and I think
they kept it. They kept the title.
And I think it was the one announcement that absolutely shocked people this E3. If there's one shocking announcement, that's the one.
Yeah.
There was no other announcement that shocked people, and I think that's what E3 is all about. Nintendo captured that with Metroid Dread. Burkoff, what is your biggest announcement?
Well, I already said Elden Ring, but Metroid 5.
No. I'm sorry, Evan.
Oh. Yeah.
Just because of time, I have to cut you off.
That's fine. That's fine. Well, we can do this the easy way. Mine is the same, Metroid Dread, because I thought, Metroid Anniversary this year, everyone thought like no one cares about the Metroid series. Right. Nintendo's going to do them dirty, and if anything, you expect Metroid Prime trilogy, because that game is done. Like it's actually quite it's a terribly kept secret, or however the
worst
the
kept
phrase
secret
goes. Thank you very much. That game is done and they're holding on to it, or Metroid Prime 4 information, right? So that's what you're thinking about when you're thinking about the Metroid series, right? And they just go like, that's in development, brand new game, Metroid 5, not even a side game. They put the 5 on the end of there. No one knew that was coming, and I'm so happy. Not only is they just dropped that game's coming out in October this year. Yes. I'm so excited for it.
And they did announce later on that this game is the last game of the series. Like it ends
Samus Aran's arc. Yeah. They did specifically say that there will be more Metroid games. However,
it'll be the end of that arc.
That which is cool. Like I'm totally for it. But yeah. The idea that like they're giving time to a 2D Metroid game again in 2021. Like I'm very, very happy to hear that Metroid is going to continue. So
can we seriously make fun of all the people that were like, why the fuck did they say Metroid 5?
Yeah.
Literally, like I saw tweets. People were like, what the fuck?
I guess here's the thing. I will tell you guys, and again, I'm showing my age here. I was a little confused when I saw Metroid 5 because one, I never played a Metroid game, but
right.
I didn't know that Metroid Prime series is different than the Metroid game series. Like, I didn't know those were two different. So here I'm thinking,
Okay.
why are they?
Leeway.
Here I'm thinking, like, why are they? Do they have Metroid 5 when they don't even have Metroid Prime 4?
5. Right.
Prime
Right.
4 even done.
Okay.
So like
Okay.
I will defend them a little bit. Maybe they just don't even understand the difference, and I had to learn that.
They might be young, Burkoff, unfortunately, but you gotta be like, excuse me, don't you know that clearly at the beginning of Super Metroid it says Metroid
Well,
3?
So, all right. So
I know
when
what you mean,
first,
and I feel the
when I
same way.
when
in a
I
way.
first saw it, I was like, Metroid 5, what the fuck? And then I thought back and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
3 in Fusion, and now oh shit,
They're
this is
doing
a
it.
2D Metroid. Yeah,
It's great.
and then they showed me a 2D Metroid. I was like, oh, all right, yes, I'm into this shit.
So
Yeah, I love how they're keeping it that way. 2D, 2.5D, whatever.
And
Right.
Dan did his biggest announcement, so we are done with biggest announcements. It is time, ladies and gentlemen,
won?
boys.
Sorry, guys. Thomas isn't having a good time.
Oh, okay.
All right. Best of luck.
I think he's just
Dan.
gonna have an empty screen, but that's okay.
Sorry with us.
Yeah, we'll just have it empty. It's cool. All right, so we are going to do. It is time, or can I can boot him off, can't I?
He might come back though. I don't know.
Let me.
Either or, whatever you decide.
I'll just boot him, and then if he wants to come back, he can just add himself. Just because it's kind of weird to have just a background sitting there like that.
Sure.
Yep, Liam,
I-
Liam said bye, Dan.
Yeah.
Nick Wobble said bye bye.
Oh wait, never mind.
Oh,
he's back.
you guys thought he was done. He's not done. By the way, I will stab someone for those fucking new Metroid amiibos. I will stab someone.
Okay, okay.
I will stab.
All right.
Are you
so,
sticking around,
ladies,
Dan?
Yeah.
Sorry?
are you sticking
Are you
around?
sticking around?
Yeah, I'm just going to be running out in and out of the stream.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right.
Well, I'll have you go
Because
first
there's,
then. It is time for best. Oh,
Who
was it?
won E3?
Who won E E3?
Nintendo, hands down. No one came close.
All right, we have a 1 Nintendo. I will give Rafa's vote. Here we have a 2 Nintendo. Evan, who won E3?
Actually, the answer is written on this boxed copy of Ocarina of Time. Let me check.
Oh, nice.
Ah. This is $2, by the way. That's what shit goes for here.
Nintendo.
It's not just the Breath of the Wild 2 stuff because they didn't show enough. Like I was kind of left slightly unsatisfied, even though the game I'm interested in the dynamic between the sky and the ground. But that Metroid Dread drop just kind of blew me away, and I'm such a huge Metroid fan, and you get so little from that series. I know we got the 3DS game, but like the next new Metroid game that I can play on my fucking 55-inch OLED TV instead of this little baby ass screen where Samus Aran is this big, like 2 pixels high, and I can't read anything. It's as big as my thumbnail. Like I'm so happy I can actually experience a game on my screen. And it's got to be.
I can play in handheld mode.
that's,
It's fantastic.
That's 3 Nintendo.
Dan, I appreciate your situation. Yeah, do
Well,
what you got to do.
I'm trying to wind him up.
Did Keith list who won E3?
No, he didn't.
Game Pass.
Oh, Game Pass.
Oh.
Game Pass.
won,
Oh, do I even have to look at this? It's Game Pass.
It's Game
wins.
Pass. Yeah, Game
Game
Pass.
Pass wins.
Burkoff.
Nintendo.
For Nintendo.
Yeah.
And
SMT5
and
and fucking Metroid.
and here we go.
Yeah.
Like it's Nintendo. It's 5 Nintendo, and this is why. Like
Metroid 5
no,
Nintendo.
it's like, what do you want from an E3 press conference? You want to be surprised. You want to be excited. You want to see first party things you can't play anywhere else for your platform.
You want that shit right now.
And you want
as soon as
You want
possible.
that
Also
shit as soon as
inject.
possible. And then the final thing is you want something to look forward to later. And guess what?
Yeah.
Nintendo delivered more than any other conference on all those elements. They
Can I also
delivered like
interject?
12 games that you can. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, they also had array of games in different genres.
That's
So I
true.
feel like
Yeah.
they had something for everyone. I think.
Yeah.
For me, who loves strategy, they brought back Advanced Wars 1 and 2. For other people who like JRPGs, they have that. They're bringing a few third parties, not many, but sim builders. I've got a sim builder on there at launch. I was pretty happy with them.
Yeah.
As much as I'm not into it, Mitch, bring over Mario Party. We'll fucking hang out and play that.
Yeah, it's like here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like not only did they announce a bunch of games, and I get Game Pass is a very compelling service to purchase. Again, they're filling them full of third-party publishing, and it's because they don't have first-party games. Guess what? And I know you have to buy these from Nintendo, but these are games you can only get on their platform, and they're like Dan said, a wide array of games. There's games like me that love to play Mario Party. There's games like Dan that wants to play strategic games. There's games like Burkoff that wants to play Shin Megami Tensei. There's also Dread for Evan. Like, they got a little bit of everything for everybody. And I think, unfortunately for me, when I was disappointed in Microsoft is right now, the issue I have with Microsoft is they have a lot of shooters. And shooters are not my cup of tea. So I'm really waiting for like the non-shooter games right now for me. But again, they shocked us. They surprised us. They made us happy. Like they did what you're supposed to do at an E3 press conference. They blew us away.
I will say as a final note, it would have been nice to have Liam on here because I know he was very high on the Microsoft the Xbox Bethesda conference to try to maybe balance out our lukewarm reception of it. But aside from that, you know that Nick Womble and Erebus Jones were like, if I was on this episode, I would drag down this Nintendo hype so much. They're so mad they're not on here to fucking try to destroy or crush or bring down our hopes and dreams.
That's true. And here's the thing, like I respect Microsoft for all they do, for sure. And unfortunately their issue is they don't have the guns right now. They just have it. Like they don't have the rest. Like they have a recipe cooking. It's not done yet. And unfortunately,
all those studios they bought. It's gonna take a couple more years. Yeah.
And the crazy part is, and I guess we can get into this. My final part about, and we'll lead it to E3 overall, and then we'll be done. But like one thing I didn't talk about, which I was just shocked by, which is. Oh, no, wait, never mind. I did talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it because we already talked about it. I was just like, how can they still be cooking? That's just one thing that's just shockingly disappointing to me. Is like, how can these things still be cooking? Like, they bought some of these studios 5 years ago. They should have a game by now.
They should, but they don't.
But they don't.
It's all right.
It's not all right, Berghoff. It's not all right.
Well, that's all right. So that's where the third-party failure comes in.
People can hate on me to say I'm an Xbox hater. What I want is I'm not an Xbox hater. I want fucking amazing games from Xbox. And guess what? I don't get any. And you know why? Because they don't make any. And whose fault is that?
10 out of 10. The Medium came out in January.
I enjoyed the Medium. And it was fine, but it was underwhelming. It's third party.
5, yeah.
Also coming to PlayStation.
It also was underwhelming. Like it was a good game. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited to see what they do next, but it was underwhelming overall.
Dude, Xbox is the fucking Netflix of games right now.
Where their original movies are like really trash.
The sparkling water of waters. This publisher.
Bring it back.
Yes.
All right. So final thing.
Yeah, they are.
Let's just end this on talking about E3 overall. Like, what do you guys think? Like, with this method of it was the only digital event. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We didn't have an E3 last year. Like, what's your overall feelings about it?
What was the show that we were all on? Today's High Score. We all called into that show. Like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said that E3 was unnecessary, that all the publishers could do their own shit. that's where we are today. That's happening, and it's going to continue to happen. E3 is not fucking relevant. The publishers that you care about will continue to release this stuff, and you can follow them if you want to. That's kind of where I'm at.
Do you really think they purposely held back? That's the
Um,
most interesting question I want to hear from both of you. Is do you think they do you think it was the pandemic, or do you think they purposely held back because they are going to do their own events for the rest of the year like they did last year?
I think it's a little of both. I don't know that anybody
Yeah.
has anything else to show um, that would be interesting to anybody else but their fans.
Final Fantasy
So
16.
I don't think they're going to show 16 though. Like they showed that last year. It's not ready. It still has to develop.
Holy sh! Look at that pour. It's terrible.
That's a proper Evan pour.
That's true. Sorry. Final Fantasy 16, as you were talking about.
Um, yeah, I think that the publishers are going to do their own thing, but it doesn't really matter in the end of the day. Like people are going to seek out what they want. It's all about how their feed fucking filters this shit.
All right, Evan, do you think the pandemic was the reason E3 was underwhelming, or was I'm assuming you thought it was underwhelming, but if not, you can correct me. But do you think this is a pandemic, or do you think the publishers are actually are holding back purposely?
Well, I'll cheat a little bit and go with Burkhoff when he's saying it's a little bit of both, but I'm kind of in the mindset that I wasn't expecting that much because of the pandemic, and I'm fine with giving the publishers developers a leeway in this regard, because I'm not one of those people that gets mad because a game is delayed. Like I'll wait. Like I always play old shit anyways. Like I'm behind because I tend to wait for, unless it's like Ghost of Tsushima or the Last of Us Part 2. I tend to wait like years or 6 months if not year or two to play a game. And it's like, yeah, like shit got stopped. Like the whole world got fucked up because of COVID-19. So I don't expect them all of a sudden to immediately readjust and get back on the rails at the same speed that it has been in the past. And I don't think anyone should think that. And I'm fine with that. Like there's plenty of stuff that interested me. Was it in comparison with other years when there wasn't this mass pandemic across the entire world that was affecting like supply lines and people working from home and blah 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 blah? Well, yeah, totally. But I think that's understandable. So they did what they could, but I do also agree with Burkhoff where you get to this point where these developers are like, all right, we spend X amount on E3 every year with the presentations and the booths and all that stuff. Let's just release this Nintendo Direct video and look at the numbers. Are the numbers different from when we spend all this money at E3 with these stage shows? If they're not different, then fuck the stage shows, because we're still selling as many games, and then it will continue with this kind of direct style type of thing. Whether or not E3 is like a
Conglomerate.
whatever, as a conglomerate agrees with it or not. It's like, oh no, we're just the money shows. We sell as many games as whether or not we spend like a shit ton of money on these booths and stuff. So like we'll see what happens in the future. But yeah, I understand why it was kind of like a so kind of mild E3, and that's fine. That's fine with me.
I think that the pandemic had a factor. I also think it got to a point where it ballooned too big, in my opinion. And actually, what people forget is E3 was just a trade show, like the boat show or the cooking show or any of these other shows. It was never like a Comic-Con thing. It kind of evolved into that. But actually, it was about developers and game studios meeting in boardrooms, making deals, discussing this. But I think the issue with the way business commerce is happening now compared to back then is everything is a lot more interactive. And I think the pandemic has shown that those deals can be done not once a year, but because it's so you can just bring them all up on a Zoom call or whatever. I still think there is meaning in face-to-face meetings. So does E3 just become that trade show where you just have the big bosses from all these studios having those meetings in and around that time, and a few bits of pieces of information come out, maybe. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens next year when they go live again. If it was as dismal as this year, I think it might be the death knell of the whole event.
Yeah.
I,
Mitch,
hmm.
what are your thoughts?
What are your thoughts, Mitch? Obviously, you can.
Oh, we asked Mitch how he was at the very end. That's nice.
Well, thanks,
Throw it
guys.
back to the host.
I think I think the pandemic has a slight reason, but I truly think the industry has pivoted. I really think E3, though it's going to be an event next year, I'm very, very cautious to see what kind of presence people are going to do. I think Microsoft will be there because Microsoft will be Microsoft. They're going to, because they're next door. Why not? They don't have to pay for space. They have a theater next door. They're going to do Microsoft.
Right.
So they don't have to worry about that. So I think Microsoft will be the one to hold E3 together, even though they're not at E3. Compared to like Nintendo isn't going to change anything that they're doing currently in regards to like they've been doing directs for the last like 4 years. Like
lucky for them. Right?
They've
been doing it.
They've already been doing it. So like the only thing they have to pivot is that they'll do a booth again. Which do I think they will? Yeah. Will it be maybe a smaller presence? Maybe, unless the ESA says we're going to give it to you like 25% off, especially if you threaten to leave. So like I think the ESA will hold on to them as long as they can, but I think as in regards to like the special moments and announcements and things like that, I don't know if I think they will save special announcements for E3. Like I think Nintendo was the most E3 that E3 was this year, and I think Nintendo will keep that. But in the same scope of, I think Nintendo was also not its best conference they ever did. It just was way better than everybody else, is why we were so gung-ho about it. Like it was not an amazing conference. Like if I compare it to past E3s, it's not an A.
Yeah.
This is like a B minus. Like B minus B. Like, so with that being said, and
Dan's like, bro,
I can respect
Rabbids. Mario, you kidding me?
No. I was thinking more C&D. I think Sony not even doing an event in the week of E3 really hurts it personally. But
here's the thing, Dan.
So I can make that judgment.
But here's the thing, Dan. 2 years ago, they did when E3 was around. Sony was not there.
Yes.
This is not.
I'm sure they did something. They did a state of play though.
They did not. They did.
It was like so it was November.
Hold on. They did a state of play 2 weeks prior to showing off Death Stranding and the release date that it's coming out in the fall. That's all they did. That's the only thing they did 2 weeks leading up to E3. And then E3 happened. Sony was a no-show. Microsoft did their thing. That was the day they didn't show off any kind of Gears first story mode. They only showed off like multiplayer, this new multiplayer mode. Like that's when we were making fun of Microsoft because they didn't show gameplay again. Like it's not the first time Sony's done this, so I don't see that as the contributing factor.
Yeah, but that year was rubbish as well.
No, it wasn't.
Honest.
Nintendo did a great job.
Particularly good. Nintendo did, but this is the theme. Nintendo are the only ones who are actually bothering to put any effort into this.
But
I'm saying, how long can Nintendo sustain this model?
But I think you're saying
my curiosity is if we're seeing a renaissance of Japanese developers, if this is like something that's going to crest and peak like the way that it did when we were younger.
Maybe.
No, I disagree. Here's the thing. Okay, that E3, you also got to consider Square Enix. They came out with the first footage of Final Fantasy VII Remake. They showed off a boatload of the combat system and how that gameplay works.
Right.
They showed off Marvel's Avengers, even though they didn't show the actual gameplay. They showed off Marvel's Avengers. They showed off Outriders for the very first time. Like there were announcements that E3. It's just like we've always said, Microsoft does not have these things that cook in. They don't have the food to show up for it yet. And so that's why Microsoft is going to always be the underwhelming one compared to all the other E3s. That's why they can't surprise us, because they don't have anything to show at the moment. So yes, could eventually Microsoft pull Nintendo in regards to showing off surprises? Yeah, they definitely can in the next few years because they finally will have something to show for themselves instead of CG trailers. But like with that being said, I think they'll save one special announcement for E3. But in regards to like going into depth with these games, I don't think that's happening anymore at E3. I think it's going to be their own separate events. That's why I'm saying Breath of the Wild 2 is not being shown here at E3 because they want to make their own special event for it because they think that's more valuable.
I don't actually agree with that. I think if it had been a live show and it was ready, they would have blown it out because they love their quirky little booths. They get a load of press. The people walk in and get that experience. They might have done Mario Golf this year, to be fair, as it's close to be coming out. So they could have gone that route. But if I think about the Breath of the Wild year, where the whole booth was the world, and then the other year was Mario Galaxy, and that's their kind of been their booth theme. This year they couldn't do that because they still did direct.
Yeah, they could. Yes, they could, Dan.
Because there was no booths for them to go to. They couldn't do that. Who's going to play?
But Dan, if they did it that year, sorry, break off really quick. If they did it that year, if they did it this year, it would be Dread. It would be. It's the 20th anniversary of Metroid. Okay. They're going to blow out Metroid. Dread. That's what they're going to do.
But they didn't do it because they couldn't. That's my point is. So it's hard to us judge the whole show because part of because Nintendo have been in direct for years now, and they've never blown out things in the direct E3 for the last few years. They've kind of said, this is a bit of it, now see it on the show floor. That's what I'm trying to say. And they couldn't do that because there was no show floor for it.
But they do the tree houses. That's what they do. They show off the same gameplay in the tree houses.
I just think it wasn't the same because there wasn't a live event for Nintendo.
But we can't. Even that being said, we're not there. I can go there because I'm in LA. But like you can't go there. The average person, the average person doesn't go there.
Yeah, but the coverage coming out of that is more enriching, I think.
I mean, sure, but you can just see the gameplay in the treehouse, so you're still getting the gameplay. It's not like you're being. Yeah, it's not there. It's not like it's behind closed doors.
Yeah, I just think that was a big, and I also think they're probably holding it for the Pro. That's what I think is the reason why we didn't see anything, and they're not ready to say that because there's a chip shortage across the world. So I think if we get down to the crux of the matter, I think that's the main issue behind all these things of Nintendo anyway. Microsoft, you're right, things aren't cooked properly, so we're not going to see anything. Eventually they will have stuff and they will overtake Nintendo. What I'd say about Sony is, if you remember, you said it was good 2 years ago. Actually, everyone said, let's hope Sony come back to E3 next year because the show wasn't as good with a Sony presence not being there. And a lot of those games you mentioned did come to Sony first, like the Final Fantasy VII Remake came to PlayStation. The other Marvel's Avengers, it came to everything, but they did in the thing say PlayStation. They mentioned all on this year. Sony made an executive decision to remove all of their stuff from it, which was interesting. Like you said, they even took the controller out of the montage, which I think is Sony going, well, we don't need this show anymore. And I think Sony could kill it off personally if they decide to. Long term.
Sony's holding the sniper rifle, just ready to take the shot. It's doom.
And I think Nintendo started it with their direct style release.
Yeah,
they started it, and everyone's going, "Oh, Nintendo's been doing it. Why are we wasting all this money?"
He started it, Nintendo.
No, seriously. Yeah.
He started it. He's the one that started it. It was Nintendo.
Why is it always Japan that starts it?
I think if Breath of the Wild comes out in March, in January, you're getting a Nintendo Direct for the Switch Pro, and then like a day later, or maybe in the same show, or maybe not, maybe a day later or a week later, you then have the blowout of Breath of the Wild 2 in January, like they did last time. That's what I'm expecting. And everyone go, "There's a Switch Pro coming in 2 months! Oh my god!" Like it was a shock.
I don't know if they show a Switch Pro if it's not at something like E3 though. That's the thing that I don't think.
What do you mean? They showed off the original Switch without E3.
Yeah, they showed the original Switch in January. That was 2 months before it launched.
Sony showed off its brand new console not even during the Summer Games Fest, and neither did Microsoft. Showed it at the Game Awards. Like they don't need the hell. Well, here's the perfect example that none of these companies think they need E3. Xbox showed their console not only the name, they showed off their new console, how it looked and everything at the Game Awards. Like E3 is where you're supposed to show that stuff for the very first time.
Right,
And that's
right,
why I think
right.
it's the death knell for the conference as,
For sure.
as it currently stands.
So all right, so Tom Braders says that
Yeah.
Nintendo will show the Switch Pro between September and January.
Yeah, thanks, Liam.
Are we taking bets?
I agree.
That's what
I
they
think-
did
I think
last
so as
time.
well. Yep.
Remember,
Yeah.
Burkhoff, you were on
True,
the episode
true,
of podcast Reload.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's giving
That
himself
was in
such a
fall.
buffer though, right there.
I think January.
I
I'm
want-
going to go. I'm not going to be so broad. I'm saying January.
No offense, Liam.
January.
I want concrete. I want you to pick a month. Hold to
I'm
it.
taking January.
Because like that's a big buffer window to be like, okay, well the chip shortage is now over in November, so January's a good month. Like, or the chip shortage is done in.
I'll take October.
I'm gonna say. Yeah,
I'll cash app you.
I'm gonna
I got $5 on
say
October.
cash app you.
I'll do $5. That's like £3.50.
I
That's an easy bet.
take Venmo, my friend. I take Venmo.
I got Venmo installed. That's my shit.
All right.
$5 October.
Oh Jesus Christ! Let's see.
Can we legally
Did you-
gamble on this stream?
January.
Will Twitch take down the stream if we're gambling like this?
Monopoly money. It's Monopoly money.
Yeah, it's
Come on.
Monopoly. It's pennies on the
Okay.
dollar. It's pennies on the
We
dollar.
kid. We kid.
We kid.
Uh,
What month? Okay, October, January. Evan, what do you say? What month?
What, the Switch Pro?
Yeah, the announcement
Yeah.
of Switch Pro.
The announcement, not when it actually comes out.
The announcement.
Right.
So Nintendo will do it on its own terms. What if they do the same thing they did last year? Jesus Christ,
Last
2016 when
time.
they did it in fall, as Mick Womble loves to make fun of.
Okay.
Maybe they'll do it in
I'm
fall.
I'm going super crazy, but hey, I got extraction correct, so I'm on a roll here, gentlemen. And I'm
This
also
guy's
I
the modern Nostradamus.
also was the winner of the
Yeah.
Game of the Game Awards. Just saying. So not only two-time champion of the Game of Game Awards, I'm also got extraction correct. So I'm gonna go for the guess of, just wanted to throw my credentials out there so people know I'm legit.
Sure.
Gotta earn the respect, right?
This guy doesn't just throw out predictions to anyone. He's focused.
He's the
knows
shit,
what he's
right?
doing.
He's the shit.
Yeah, he researches.
I love how, Evan, you're sitting down like you're a host of the Tonight Show or something.
I know.
You
I
got
don't
your
know
own
what's
little
going on.
set. It's great. It's great. I love
my
it.
set kind of fucking sucks. Like I don't know what's going
I
on.
like
here.
it.
I only wish,
It has
Evan,
lots
I
and
was
lots.
in Japan so I could sit next to you. So we're like, like that would be a perfect co-hosting like spot where you just host together like that.
Okay, this is a prediction, right? This is a prediction. I guarantee at some point, someone from this cast will be sitting next to me during a stream of Pixel Pints in the future after we all get vaccinated. Yeah, someone will be here.
I mean,
for some
more like
really-
after
really
you
dumb
get
stream.
vaccinated because I'm already done.
Oh,
Dude,
but
I finished yesterday.
Too. Yeah.
well, once you
I
guys
can't
rub
go
it
to
in.
I can't go watch a play on Broadway. I discovered.
But anyways,
I can't watch a play on Broadway, and the Canadians are really pissed off about it. Basically, because the Americans are shipping all the AstraZeneca overseas. There was this Canadian couple who are barred from going to see a play because they only had the AstraZeneca vaccine. I have no desire to
really?
go to any Broadway play at the moment, but I did think the vaccine discrimination has already started.
Uh-oh.
all right. So my prediction is next
Moderna, baby.
next E3 will be the Switch Pro, and it will come out
Okay, wow.
So June.
next fall. It will come out next fall with Breath of the Wild 2.
All right. So June they'll announce both Breath of the Wild 2 in its full game and
The Switch Pro.
Pro.
Because I'm thinking I still think the chip shortage is going to be an issue for about a year, even after the pandemic.
All right.
That
Just to
just
clarify-
to like imagine it is the thing is like you have Xbox and Sony trying to still figure out their chip problem. Car companies can't even figure out the chip problem right now. Like cars are using speedometers that are manual in some of the newest cars that they manufacture because they don't have the chip technology. So I
Yeah.
think
Jesus.
Nintendo is going to run into a serious issue of even trying to get enough chips to be able to sell enough Switches, that I think Nintendo does not want a Sony or a Microsoft issue that they had over this last year with their consoles, because
They can't afford to.
Basically, they're gonna take their time. They're selling enough Switches.
They're
They don't
good.
have to rush.
They're good.
Sure.
Can I say something? We haven't put a year on this, so I'm just going to say January. And if that happens to be January 2023, I'm still going to take.
No.
pictures.
You know, I specifically
you
said
don't get that.
I
I just think
specifically said
I just think the
June.
announcement will happen in January.
I specifically said next
fucking
E3
funny.
and I said next fall, so I'm specific.
All right, so I'm
Very
gonna put this out there too. So we didn't really talk about Avatar, but I have a bet with Liam. June 18th, we have to decide whether Avatar looks better or is better than the graphics that they showed, or is worse than the graphics that they showed. That's the bet that we have going right
in
now.
a year's time.
Yeah, in a year's time.
Wait.
Because
You gotta say that
because
again.
it needs to, because it comes out next December is the movie, so I'm assuming that's when the game comes out, is next December,
Right. So yeah, we're expecting that the game is going to come out, and we'll see
simultaneously
Actual-
with the movie.
actual gameplay before June 18th.
I think it will look. Wait, it has to be better or worse? Why can't it be the same?
I think it's going to look worse because
Wait. Then the movie? The
No.
new movie.
Look better than
No.
worse than what they just showed of
Yeah.
Avatar.
Oh,
I think it will
I
look.
think it will-
I think it'll look the same.
it'll look worse.
I think it will look better.
all right.
If I
okay.
had to
No
pick, if
fucking
I had to
way,
pick
man.
worse or better, I'm gonna say better, but I think it'll look the same.
we got to
gonna
split.
look
Probably going to
worse.
be worse.
It
but
always
everyone else
looks
said
worse.
So I said better, just for fun.
It always looks worse.
Evan,
I'm sorry.
Evan,
Mitch, I'm sorry.
no whining here.
I feel like we need a third
Um,
party here.
that-
We need a third party here because I might think it looks better, but you might think it looks worse.
I
So
think
we
This
need an
fucking
impartial
pillow
judge.
smells.
Digital
By the
Foundry,
way.
Digital Foundry, Dan, Digital Foundry will tell us
Jesus.
if it looks better or worse than when it revealed it. They will. I guarantee
Okay.
they'll make a video. The only reason why I say it will look better is because they have another year, and because it has nothing to do with the movie, means they're not construed by like plot they have to tell with the movie. So then they can just make whatever the hell they want.
The reason that I say it's going to look worse is because of fucking Watch Dogs and every other game that they want to show ahead of time always looks better than it actually comes out.
But not when
Yeah,
the
but-
mouse sponsors it, man. This is the mouse, man. You don't F with
Sorry,
Mickey
no,
Mouse.
just
Mickey
saying.
Mouse gonna come up and mess up your shit, bro.
That
They'll
haptic
stab you.
feedback
Have you
in
not seen the
Watch
South
Dogs
Park mouse?
Legion is top quality.
They added haptic feedback to
Yeah,
Legion.
the PlayStation 5 version. It is fantastic.
Haptic
Right.
feedback
Oh, wow.
I heard is amazing on everything. So,
So on that,
Anyway.
on that note,
Yeah.
should we wrap it up, guys?
yes,
Probably.
yes.
Like,
Holy
yeah, we're
cow,
just
we've
kinda
been talking way too.
meandering now.
Yeah.
It's been like 4 hours.
So no, it's only been 2 hours and 51 minutes, but minus
Okay.
about 10-minute wait on that, so it's been only 2
Also,
hours
I
and 40
turned up late.
minutes. But anyways, final question for you all, beautiful people. Well, I just want to make sure I'm playing the right thing. Okay, cool. Final question for you, beautiful people. When, because we all say E3 is going to run to the ground, when do you think E3 will end?
I don't think it will ever end. Will
That's
it end
an
in
answer?
the way that we consider it now? Maybe.
Burkoff?
2030.
Okay. Evan?
2030. I feel like we're talking about it's like in the starting narration of a sci-fi movie.
In 2020, it's 2030. Oh,
Holy shit! What year is that? That's a year.
I think the sun would have blown up by then. Yeah.
We're
Mass
fine.
destruction. We would have found the mass relays by now.
Luckily we're all borderline middle-aged, so we don't have to worry about that. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Maybe in 5 years, I'll say.
Actually, I was doing what you did. I was going to go in between 2030 and 2020, so I will say 2025. But I'm going to add a year because we're in 2021, so 2026.
So I've now got to live for the rest of my life with E3 not ever going away.
Yep.
So for my prediction to come true. Because if it ends after I die, then it doesn't matter.
Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
So
Prisoner.
in the
I
theory,
think-
if I walked out the door and got hit by a car, my prediction was correct.
Pretty dark, but yeah.
And
I feel
never ending.
here's the thing. I guess in my mind, when I say E3 is dead, it means like Microsoft, Nintendo. There's no more press conferences. Like they're just done.
Oh, okay. In that case, I will say 2028.
Because I was gonna say, TGS is kind of dead because they're no
It
longer.
still happens.
It still
It's
happens.
coming back. It's coming back, damn
It
it.
happens,
It's
but there's
Japanese
like
developers.
that. There's no
I'd love it
presence
to come
anymore.
back.
There's no presence anymore. Gamescom is like.
Wouldn't that be
rampant,
amazing if
but-
Sony pivoted to either Gamescom or
Oh,
TGS?
yes, yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
You know-
I think it
you
would
know it'd
drive
be
everyone back.
hilarious.
That is a whole other podcast, gentlemen. We need
True,
to wrap
true,
this
true.
shit
No,
up.
one last thing I will say, great thing he made there. I think my final prediction: Jeff Keighley is going to
Some kind of
swoop
smells
up
too.
Sony and say, "Come to TGS with me," and they're going to say, "Fuck yeah," and they're going to pwn E3 to the ground.
And none of them are wearing socks.
Yes.
And
Keighley
on,
hates
Socks.
and,
socks.
and
Through
on
the
that
outro
note,
music.
Want socks? I'll give you socks.
That's just a foot. There's no sock on that foot. It's invisible.
Is it like an invisible wall?
Probably in Japan, he could be wearing invisible socks. You never know with their technology.
Oh man, the tech we have here. If I told you, I'd have to kill you. Yeah, sorry.